most everything will be free. The blog will primarily be free unless there's like something really cool that comes out that we want to reserve for our members. The interviews with artists and historians, most of those will be free. The podcast coming next fall will be free. What's going to be behind the paywall are these mini documentaries that we create. We've got all sorts of interesting ideas on what we would want to do with those, where we'll take people behind the scenes. One idea that I have, and I'm going to pitch it to them. So this may not happen. We'll see. I haven't made the pitch yet, but one idea I have is I would love to go to Phipps Conservatory during one of their change-outs when they change seasons, and actually go into the production greenhouse and show people things that they're just not able to see with a ticket to Phipps. And that's kind of the stuff that we want to do in these mini documentaries. And that's why those are going to be reserved for our members, because our members are the real hardcore museum enthusiasts versus somebody who, is interested in checking out a museum, which is a big part of our website as well. So really what you'll get is a card just like this one here for Charlie Deach that we have for you.
Thank you.
And with this card, you will get a discount at, right now it is 13, it'll be 14 museums in the region to start off, and that'll continue to grow as more museums sign on with us, and it's a reoccurring discount that you can get. And all that a museum is required to sign up with us is to offer that discount. So they offer a discount to our members, and then in return, they'll be listed on our members page. They'll be, if you look at the top of the website, you'll see that featured content section. Their articles will go there in addition to any original content that we put out. And then also in our podcasts and videos and even in the blogs, we'll be throwing in little promos for those museums to try to drive traffic to them. We didn't want to charge the museums. It's typically $20 a card. The first way to get a card is the $25 fee for the party, and you'll get a lot more than the membership card in that with the party. Then after that, we're probably going to have a sale for Christmas, and then typically the price of the card is only $20 a year. And for the museums, it's free. All they have to do is offer the discount. And the reason why is, again, we don't want any barrier to entry for these museums. We want the museum that's run by a team of volunteers. We want a museum that's run by a team of volunteers to have the same opportunity as a museum that has a full paid staff.
Yeah.
And I think it's important that our website maintains that, because no one else is going to do it, because there's really no reason for any individual museum to put something like this together. So we want to make sure that we stay pure to that goal, which is why we started the podcast out long ago, and that's why we're doing this website now.
What's the so who do you have developing this content with? Is it mainly a one-man show right now, one-person show right now? Is it?
No, there's 4 people who are involved in the videos, whether they be interviews or the documentaries, and then we have a couple people working on blog posts as well. And basically we're just the interviews will come out every other week, and they're going to be shot on location, so we'll be in the gallery or in the studio with the artist. And we basically are going to have a spreadsheet up, and whoever is able to make it that particular Saturday morning when we record it, they'll just write their name down and we'll go. But yeah, it's all volunteers. We're all just going to do what we can. And one of the things that we have, one of the great things about this site, and one of the things that I did early on, is I sent out this summer an email to every museum that I could find an email address for, and I said, add us to your media list. So we'll be posting their press releases, as long as it's not something that we need to rewrite, then we'll rewrite it, but we'll pretty much be posting the press releases on our blog as well, in addition to content. So since we're all volunteers, we all have our job isn't to become a newspaper like what you guys are. Our job is to just be a resource to find information about these museums. So like, even if we read something in the Pittsburgh Current that deals with the museum, we'll share that link in our blog and say, hey, check out this article from the Pittsburgh Current. And that's part of our objective too. We kind of want to be the one-stop shop for everything museum, finding out information about museums, reading about museums, watching interviews, getting discounts. We plan on doing quarterly events where you'll get a discount as a member. So there's all sorts of fun things that we have in the works.
As well as, and we talked a little bit, you obviously have this, and it's already, like I said, I've already seen the interactive map. It's pretty impressive. But you also have a calendar, I assume, of events and
calendar of events, a directory that you can read. We'll have the map that you saw, which is interactive, and there's actually a button on there you can click to activate your Google Maps app on your phone. So then you can navigate to it, which is great.
Yeah.
And also, in addition to that, there's a search bar on there. And if you just start typing in, like if you type in Andy Warhol, the museum listing will come up that we have, and then all of the articles associated with it as well will pop up, which is great. And then you can even just search in Allegheny County, and then everything from Allegheny County will come up. You can search in private residence, and then if you want to go and be a creeper and look at all of these personally owned homes that are on the historic register, they're all going to be there. You can drive around and look at those as well.
So you have your event coming up on Saturday, a launch party. Tell me a little bit about the launch party. Where and when, and what the hope is. Obviously, you're hoping to get people to come out and learn more about you.
I will just put it this way to start off. I am losing money on this party, even if we have a good turnout.
Right.
We've just thrown everything at it because we wanted it to be a great event because it's our big welcomed, the world event. So it's $25 to get in. And when you get in, first thing you get is this PGH Museum's membership card, which is a $20 value. That's included in the ticket price. In addition to that, you'll get 2 drinks from Threadbare, which Threadbare Cider and Mead. So, you can't go wrong right there. There's going to be pizza available. There will be a live music from Tim Vitullo, who's an incredible musician. You guys should get him on your musician show sometime. He's great.
Oh, yeah.
Fantastic. We'll have 2 live painters, Nikki Bacon and Mike Zickafoos. They'll be there live painting in front of you, and you can also buy their artwork as well. Also, for that price, there's going to be the Carnegie Museum of Natural History's mini museum on site. So there's actually going to be a museum that you can explore while you're at the party. And the first 60 ticket buyers will take a fossil home with them. And if you buy your ticket by Friday night tonight, you'll be entered into a basket for the Steel City Salt Company.
Wow.
So it's a lot for $25.
And the location is at Threadbare. It is your location.
Mm-hmm.
So as to talking to you about this, it's obvious to me that this is especially if you're volunteering your time and your money and so forth, this obviously has to be something that is important to you, close to you. Has history always been something you've had an interest in?
It is, yeah. I've always been interested in history. It's funny, I never really went to a lot of museums as a kid. My parents didn't go to a ton of them, so we just didn't go. We always went to the beach, which was great. I love the beach, but didn't go to a lot of museums. And it was actually my friend Randy who started this with me. He is the one who really started getting me to go to museums. We started going just for fun, and then the podcast came as our schedules got tighter, and I was like, oh, if we make it a priority, we can make sure that we get to it. But yeah, so it started off that way, and I really love seeing history. I don't know, it's one thing to read it. I like to experience things, so it's one thing to read about something or watch something, but to be able to walk through it and live it, I don't know why. It's to me, it's more exciting that way.
Yeah. What are we missing any? I mean, as obviously someone who spent a lot of hours getting this ready, what else should people know about your site and about the information and so forth you're going to have on there?
Yeah, I think we want you to be active in the site. I think that's the biggest thing, is we want you to live and breathe it, and we want you to be a member with us. We want you to be an affiliate, obviously, but even more than that, even if you're somebody who doesn't want to become a member of PGH Museums, we want you to add to the site. Tell us your stories, tell us your experiences. One of the things I love about this project is I'll share a photo of a building, and people from all over will start talking about their experiences with that building and how their family members lived there, or how they worked there, or different things that they experienced. One example is the Union Trust building. We posted a picture of the ceilings. That's one of my favorite buildings in Pittsburgh. Have you been in there?
I have not been in there. Of course, I know where it is, but I've never been.
Go in.
Yeah.
You walk in, and first off, you're like, wow, this is a really nice lobby.
Yeah.
And then you get to the middle, and you look up, and every floor has a round railing going all the way up to the top with the stained glass ceiling. And it is just breathtaking. It's very difficult to photograph. And I did the best that I could, posted the picture, and apparently they used to leave a tarp at the bottom of that at Christmas time, and people would drop money from each of the floors into the tarp I think it was for the Salvation Army.
Really?
Yeah, and it's like stories like that which are so cool.
Yeah.
I don't think they do that anymore. I had no idea that was ever a thing. and just stories like that are really, really cool to hear, and that's what we really want to get more of that as we go along. So it's really interacting with the site. We want you to be engaged with our programming, comment on our stuff, whether you hate what we said or whether you want to add something to it. We want people to really feel like this is their website as well, and we want them to be involved. Again, there's going to be a spot right there for people to add their own museum. I know there's museums we're missing. I don't know if you're familiar with Trundle Manor.
Yeah, one I am familiar with.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Trundle Manor is somebody owns that as their personal home. They
Right.
live in that building.
Right.
So I do know about that one, but there's a good chance that I could not have known about that
Right.
one. You know what I mean?
And there are probably many people that don't know about
exactly. Trundle
Manor.
Manor is great. They have a tumor in a jar that's a music box. Right there in the foyer of the house. I think it's in the foyer. So I mean, the place is incredible. So I know there's more stuff out there like that.
And I think what this will do too is it's going to challenge people's thoughts about and ideas about what a museum is, what a museum is supposed to be. Like, again, there are people who I'm sure who would, who when they say museums, you got to have, dinosaur bones and whatever paintings made by people with French names. But there's much more to museums than what we think of as museums.
Oh yeah, actually, one of the cool things, props to Pittsburgh. So from what I've been told, and I haven't done the research, so I'm just saying this because I've been told it, but it sounds good.
Yeah.
Apparently, a lot of these natural history museums actually have models of dinosaur skeletons that are based off of what we have at the Carnegie Museum of Natural History. So that's kind of cool. So we have the real deal there. And actually, if you go there, you can see them actually working on dinosaurs in one of the windows, which is pretty sweet. So
yeah, it really is. It really is. I mean, our museum, just the museum system that you do know, that most people do know of, is amazing. So I think it's really cool that this is going to really take people even deeper into what Pittsburgh has to offer in terms of museums and galleries and so forth.
Oh yeah, and then the buildings as well. I was talking with Louise of the Pittsburgh History and Landmarks Foundation, and they've affiliated with us as well, so our members will get discounts with a lot of the stuff that they're doing as well. But she was saying from the beginning, she's like, our museum is the buildings in the world that you live in Pittsburgh, and a lot of these historic buildings. And it was funny because that was already part of something we were working on. We added historic buildings and stuff like that to the project, but I couldn't agree with her more. And sometimes the buildings themselves, you go to the Carnegie Museum of Natural History and you look at the building that it's in, or even the libraries that are around here, they are breathtaking. The Cathedral of Learning, go in there. They're as interesting. Well, the Cathedral of Learning is a museum itself with the nationalities rooms, but just going into the lobby is just out of this world. And you can gain so much just going to even the historic sites. I remember one day I was young. I was just out of high school, and I discovered the historic markers. They I don't want to talk down on my high school, but they didn't talk really anything about local history.
Sure. No, and I think most high schools don't, and that's kind of sad.
They don't. And I remember learning about Bushy Run in high school, and I was taught wrong information. We were told that it was part of the French and Indian War, and it definitely was. It was a war that was a direct result of the French and Indian War, but it was actually a separate war called Pontiac's War. And it was the French had nothing to do with that war. Well, except for the fact that the Native Americans were hoping the French would come back, but the French weren't actually involved in any of the fighting in Pontiac's War. But one of the things that Irwin has is all of these different historic markers like they have here in Pittsburgh. And there was actually a house that was part of the Underground Railroad that was in Irwin. General Braddock camped in Irwin on his way to Fort Duquesne. All of these different things that I never learned in history class that I learned just going to these sites. And this was a part of American history, a part of Pittsburgh history. And that's really cool too. So I thought it was important to add all of these historic places because you can learn and gain so much and really appreciate your own hometown so much more when you can see how your hometown is connected through history and how it's shaped the world that we live in.
It's really great. As we wrap up here with Brian Crawford of PGH Museums, Brian, tell people how they can get tickets to the event on Saturday. And obviously there'll be advanced tickets now, and there also will be tickets at the door, I assume?
Correct. Yeah, so right now until Friday night at 11:59 p.m., you can go to pghmuseums.org, and you'll see right at the top of the page, there's a link that is for the tickets. You can also just find us on Eventbrite as well. It's right there. And also the day of, it's just cash only the day of, and that'll be at the door, $25 at the door at Threadbare. And you won't get a ticket; you'll just be let in. So
great. We're having a bit of a having a bit of a technical difficulty here, folks. Sorry about that.
Live podcasting.
This is where my inexperience comes in. Brian, tell me. Brian, so basically what I'll say is, Brian, fill time for me real quick while I look something up on my computer.
Sure.
Back to museums that people might not know about. There are some. How much have you gone? You mentioned Washington County. So what are the main target counties? Are you looking at Beaver County? Are you looking at?
Oh
yeah.
It goes out just. Well, I hate to bring up Crawford. We want Crawford museums. So if somebody is from Crawford County, please send us our museums. We do want to add you. We're just not our focus right now. But basically, that's our top. So like right there.
Right.
We don't go into Crawford or Erie County, so that's about as far north as we go. We go all the way down to the border with West Virginia. We go all the way out to Ohio, and then we go all the way out to Clarion County. And the reason why we go that far is just because if you exclude Clarion, it's like this huge cutout, and
Sure.
it looks like we're intentionally excluding them.
Right.
So it's a natural line to
Yeah.
run around Clarion. So that's why somebody was like, Crawford, Clarion's further than Crawford. It's like, well, that's why. It's just because it would look really like rude, like
Right.
we're like, we're done with you. So that's our focus. But again,
Yeah.
we're not building a wall like the president. We are building just a border line. So like you can cross
Right.
that. We can cross that border. We do have some museums
Right.
in West Virginia that have been added to the directory.
Okay.
We will add museums in Ohio if they pop up or someone suggests it. So it's definitely a line drawn in pencil. We encourage
Right.
coloring outside of the lines,
Yeah.
if that makes sense. But that's kind of our focus. We just had to have a focus. Otherwise, you're
Yeah.
never going to accomplish anything if you don't have a targeted area.
I grew up just down the river, just over the border in Ohio, East Liverpool, Wellsville area, and there's a museum of ceramics in
really?
East Liverpool, Ohio. And I remember, listen, I'm sure it's lovely, and I've never been as an adult, but I was like going as a kid to learn about, because pottery is what made that region of Ohio and West
Okay.
Virginia. Pottery was huge down there. Homer Laughlin China Company, home of the fancy plates that everybody loves. You'll know it. Anyway, Fiesta ware. Everyone
Okay.
loves Fiesta ware. But I remember that as a kid thinking, I don't know how I could, spend an hour or two looking at plates. But even as a kid, you're like, this is kind of interesting to learn something that you never knew before. So it's definitely, I think this is definitely something that is needed. Before we go, I do want to tell you that now celebrating their 25th anniversary, the Pittsburgh Dance Company Attack Theater presents The Kitchen Sink at New Hazlitt Theater on November 15th through the 17th, featuring a rocking repertoire of original live music and the bold physicality of the company dancers. Tickets and more information at attacktheater.com/kitchen sink. And that's what I was missing. We all make mistakes, I guess. Brian, thank you for coming out today. Thank you for hanging in. This has been a bit of an odd show. I've definitely had some flubs and mix-ups, but you were great, Brian, and I think that people should definitely check out your site, pghmuseums.org. The event this Saturday at Threadbare. I think it. Good luck with the endeavor.
Thank you. You're definitely, like I said, this Saturday, you're getting your money's worth. I'm going to lose a minimum $300, maybe $600.
Come and help Brian drink all the booze and food he's already paid for.
Yes,
he would
exactly.
appreciate it.
Please.
Thanks a lot, and thank you for joining us today on the Pittsburgh Current podcast. Have a great week.
A better alternative, giving Pittsburgh a better alternative, giving Pittsburgh a better alternative, a better alternative, giving Pittsburgh a better alternative, giving Pittsburgh a better alternative.
How you feeling, babe?
I'm a tad nervous.
You'll be swell.
Our next guest is making his debut here on top of the charts, ready to perform the hit single, You Make Me Smile. Ladies and gentlemen, Nick Ivan!
I like the way that you look at me. Your eyes reveal everything that I wanna see. You have the innocence of a child. You make me smile. The way you say sorry when you've done nothing wrong. The way you light up when you hear your favorite song. The way that you can go from shy to wild. You make me smile. Anytime that I feel alone, all I do is pick up the phone. And when I hear your voice, it leaves me with no choice. The way you pick me up when I'm feeling down. The way that you can turn my whole day around. The way that you can make it feel that it's worthwhile. You make me smile. I wanna see. You have the innocence of a child. You make me smile. The way you say sorry when you've done nothing wrong. The way you light up when you hear your favorite song. The way that you can go from shy to wild. You make me smile. You make me smile. You make me smile.
Oh yeah. Oh, I'm at that one. Yes.
Oh,
There's a desktop.
I was gonna
Link.
say.
That's Link. Giant mountain face. Hannibal the Cannibal Headland.
Hello, Clarice.
Afro podcaster.
Yeah.
Yes, this wig is a little hot.
Yeah.
I don't think it's gonna
this won't
stay on-
last long.
I don't
Yeah.
think it's going to stay on the entire episode.
Nope, gotta have it on the whole time.
All right.
Yeah.
Sorg has spoken.
You have to. Dedicate to the gimmick.
I'll do what I can.
Alright, you good? Do you have all three of
Let me check.
I'm not there.
He's still he's a
I'm a desktop.
he's a screensaver. Or
Yeah.
yeah, desktop. Link is a desktop. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
Hannibal, how are you doing?
Hannibal.
Sorry.
Could go for
Got all the things.
a bottle of Chianti.
Boom. That should be it, right? 1, 2, 3.
Oh, cool. There I am.
There you go. Everybody happy?
Oh, jeez.
All
Morty's right behind you.
Yeah, he is right behind me.
Oh, there you go.
Yep.
That's amazing.
Keep tapping. I keep bumping.
Spider-Link, Spider-Link.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm running away.
Does whatever a spider thinks.
Run away so you can do a show.
Can you guys actually hear me through this?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, perfect.
Why is he muffled?
Yeah.
Actually,
Please mention that.
Link, this is the best you've ever sounded.
Oh, okay. Thanks.
Okay. Oh, Duke, I feel bad. I should have brought a straw for your drink.
Yes.
Good luck.
For my bottle of Chianti.
Just take it straight through that, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
It's gonna get messy.
it's also red.
Yeah, just pour it. Yeah.
One for me, one for my homies.
Yeah.
Well, see, I can be like Rorschach and like eat beans like this or whatever.
Oh, yeah. Eat beans.
Just roll it up.
There you go.
He's not stuck in here with us. We're stuck in here with him.
There's like a cognitive disconnect between
I'm trying to
me
dis-
on the screen as Spider-Man and my body.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh wait, that is me.
Trying to decide if Dan, I don't know, with the Disco Dan hair, I guess.
Disco Dan.
Yeah.
It's kind of a. I feel like the what was the character's name from the IT crowd?
Oh, yeah.
Oh crap! I forget his name.
I don't know.
It was like
That's IT crowd. That one guy.
yeah.
That one guy
That
from
one
the
guy.
IT
Yeah.
crowd.
Yep, that one guy that no one can remember. It was like a weird name. It was like a one-word name or something. Like, now I got to look it up, or I'm gonna.
I think most names are one-word names.
But I mean, it was like an actual like word or something. It
Okay.
was like
Moss?
Yeah.
yes,
Oh, yeah.
yes, thank you
For the win.
Sorg coming in for the save.
Best series ever.
Yes.
All right.
All right. So
Just a little bit of feedback there on something.
Oh, that might have been my. I had just had my phone.
Oh,
on,
it's
maybe.
your phone probably. Yeah.
Stupid technology. All right. So I think, are you guys ready? Oh, wait, I don't even know what episode this is.
Yeah.
I don't even know where I'm at.
Yeah. I know. I'm like, Lone Star.
Link's like, I'm running low on oxygen. Let's see.
I can't breathe in this thing.
All right. So I think that was 320. Okay. So this is going to be episode 330.
3:30.
Yes. Not as much fun as 420.
Oh, yeah. That's a
So-
ways to go.
That's right. Well, for better or for worse, welcome to the Comic Book Pit Podcast. I'm your host, Dan, Disco Dan, as I'm also called here in beautiful Beachview, Pennsylvania. We're good. And with me, as always, the co-host, Scott, the Hannibal Headland.
There you go.
Or the cannibal, not
The Hannibal.
the
Hannibal the cannibal.
Hannibal, the cannibal Headland.
Yeah.
Please never do that again. It looks really weird when you laugh through that mask.
Yeah.
Wait, could you
It's
stick,
like I could be also be Slipknot or
can you,
something.
can, you,
I think.
can you stick your tongue through it?
Do I want to?
That's some weird questions.
Yes, I can.
Yeah. And then on the other end, equally as terrifying in a different way, Spider Link.
Spiderlink.
Hello.
Spiderlink.
So
Let's find out what Spiderlink thinks.
yes, this is going to be your one-stop shop for comic book reviews and discussions. Tonight we're just gonna, I think we're gonna kind of merge our format a little bit for tonight.
Yeah.
We're gonna do some reviews and some talk, and try not to pass out from all the overheated plastics we're wearing on our heads and faces.
Yeah.
It smells interesting. Not really sure what fabric this is made out of, but
I think calling it fabric is kind of is a leap.
yeah, probably yes.
I mean, if you need to go to bonnet mode,
it's just
if you see me stop moving,
we'll just keep going.
Yeah, just keep going.
Podcast verite. Pour one out to the Podfather, Nick Marino.
There you go.
So well, let's get started with some comic just some conversation. I know, Duke, you had something you wanted to bring up.
This is gonna be weird. Should I don't know.
It's up to you. Whatever you're comfortable doing.
Here, I'm gonna lift this off for now.
Yeah, while you're talking.
While I chop my head off here.
Yeah. Careful with that sharp plastic.
Oh yeah. Here, we'll do it like that.
Just for kids.
Ooh, that's a look. Ooh,
I tell you what,
that.
I think you should
hair?
keep that.
Yeah.
I might leave it. Yeah,
there you
that's
go.
Nice. All right.
Your wife's gonna be like, "Honey, how was the podcast?" You'll be like, "Check out my new hair, dude."
She's watching it right now. I told her to tune in. I'm like, you don't want to miss this. I wanted to talk about the Baltimore Comic-Con that I recently attended. And first of all, thank you to the Baltimore Comic-Con for having us, as a comic book pit there to do the, to experience the show and spread the good word of a great comic show.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it's been, I want to say it was actually their 20th year, I believe.
Wow.
Or at least 20 years that they've been doing the show.
I guess that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah. And I haven't been there in like probably 10 years. Mm-hmm. And was every bit as good as I remember it and better in many ways. And I brought stuff that I saw there.
Cool.
I had a lot of great experiences. First of all, I'll also say Baltimore Comic-Con is like a comic book fans' dream show. Because they bring in their celebrity. They had a couple celebrities,
okay.
Like what you would expect from other shows. But their real celebrities are the writers and artists and creators of comic books, and like
awesome.
There's no shortage of awesome people there, and it's on every level too. It's from old school guys and geez, now I'm gonna forget some, but like Jim Lee, from that, that big of a name, to the people in Artist Alley, and these are all people that are trying to break into the business, and a lot of times, even with Artist Alley, you kind of are like, oh no, they're gonna attack me, with their with their sales pitches, but honestly, the quality of work was amazing. Even for people that are trying to break in, like the level of work was really good, even in where you would think like, oh, these are all just people, this is not like people drawn on a piece of paper and folded it in half and trying to sell it. This is it's quality work.
They brought their A game.
Yeah. I mean, so and I also want to talk about the layout of the show. It was in a new venue from when I had been there. Like, it was still in the convention center in the Inner Harbor, but they had moved it up the street just a little, to the other wing of the convention center. So that was a little new. It was all in the basement, or downstairs, I should say. But great layout, and they had it so you could experience a lot of different levels of the show, without it wasn't like segregated. There wasn't like like some of the shows, there's a wall and then there's vendors and then there's, creators and stuff like that. Everything was integrated. So like if you immediately you walk in the door, you immediately turn left, you were seeing all the big celebrity names on that side. And then they also had their celebrity guests over there. if you looked right in front of you, you were right in vendor heaven. I mean, and it was, you know, I actually knew some of the vendors just from doing toy shows, which was kind of cool. And I was like, you come all the way down from Ohio? And they're like, oh, yeah. And, you know, like, shout out to Adams Action Comics, I think is what it's called, out in Ohio. He was there. And then Bill's Books and More from Ohio was also there. And then to the right-hand side, it was weird because there was sort of a level thing where on the right-hand side, it was a lot of well-known artists, but they weren't attached to a publisher, which also on the left-hand side, there was publishers. So it was like you kind of got it all. As soon as you walked in the door, you could walk in any direction. And then as you kind of traveled down through the vendors area, then you got into that creators that are well known but have broken loose from the artist alley.
Yeah.
You know, somebody like Katie Cook and David Peterson from, you know, that does Mouse Guard.
Oh yeah.
And these guys, you know, and they all had, so they were kind of like in that next level. And then like you would go back and they actually had a kids section, which was awesome. The only guy I knew there though was, I know Franco from the old days.
Oh yeah.
You know, Franco and Art Balthazar. Well, Franco was there. And then Artist Alley was in the back, and it was like, looking at the map, I was like, oh man, they got like shafted, you know, they're like in the back of the hall. But it was so deep. I mean, it was like, you know, like at New York Comic Con, it was like 200 or 300 tables of artists. And, you know, I was seeing a lot of people that I knew too from, you know, through there. So yeah, just the layout of the show was awesome. So my main goal though, like for me personally, was to get Adam Hughes to draw something.
Yeah. I saw what you posted, but let's see it.
I brought it with me.
Nice.
Because I figured I could show it off.
I have to take the mask off for this for sure.
I'll hold it up to the camera, but this is my Adam Hughes.
Yeah.
He drew this in 4 minutes, which is unbelievable. $50. He just looks at you real quick and he's
that
like,
looks awesome.
He's like, what do you want? And I'm like classic Princess Leia with the buns, you know, with the hair buns. He's like, okay. And then he just starts drawing, and then like it's so cool to watch him because when you know he does, I'm gonna hold it up again on camera, but like he comes down with this line off the shoulder and bounces it.
Yeah.
And when he does that, it's kind of like he's ending the drawing, and then
like a flourish.
Yeah, and he kind of does that because he does this portrait style for all characters, and then he started doing all the stars and everything in the back. I was like, he's not stopping. And then he just kind of paused and looked at it, and then hit his initials, and he's like, there you go. And I was like, I was just like, I love it. And then I just backed away into the crowd and disappeared. Like, I didn't know what else to do. I was like, so.
Thank you.
Yeah, I was like, I love it. Thank you. And I just melted into the scene.
Scott was like that gif of Homer Simpson.
Yeah.
Backing
it was
into the hedges.
Unreal. So, and he did like 30 or 40 in the line before they capped it. So I was like number 8 in the line.
Oh wow.
Because
we were messing around.
Yeah, this was my goal. And I went on Friday and I immediately got in line. Like I waited an hour ahead too.
Okay.
And that was the right thing to do because Saturday and Sunday the show was so busy. So Friday was the day to go. And then I also went to you'll love this one. But I'm afraid to even show it, but I will. But another artist who's kind of getting a lot of notoriety nowadays is Nathan Zerdy. And he's doing a lot of cover art for underground, like not underground, but for comic shops and stuff like that. Do special variant covers,
right?
And they're always like the cheesecake, you know. But he does like a pinup style, like and they're really like these sexy pinups, you know. But it's still like that Gil Elfgren, like old school, you know, poses, but just all sauced up for, you know, for the now.
Right.
So anyway, I was like, hey man, how much do you charge for covers? You know, because I'm just talking. And I actually met him at Steel City Con a year or two ago, and I didn't even know it. But he's like, oh yeah, I remember, you know, like talking to you. And so I'm like, well, how much do you charge? And he's like, how about $40? I'm like, here's a comic. So I hand him Harley Quinn.
Okay.
And I let him have it all weekend, and he did this this crazy Harley.
I mean,
doing
it looks
a flip.
Wow.
And I was like, what? And it's so funny. Oh yeah, he's taking. So this will be all over social media. But
wow, that's.
But it says, but you flip it back over, you know, like right side up, and it's kind of funny because. And it says, how do I get myself into these situations? And, you know, and this is the kind of stuff, like this one, honestly, I thought is a little probably crazier than what he normally draws for, you know, for work. But I was like, this is still awesome. So this was, I mean, for me, this is the first time I've ever really had somebody do covers and like get artwork on them.
Like a commission.
So these were the two I got, and, you know, I was cracking up, and his art's insane. I ended up buying like a bunch of prints as well.
Yeah.
And wanted to talk about a couple other people I met, and then I'll be done.
And then the mask goes back on.
Yeah, and then the mask goes back on. I got to meet the guy that writes The Ride, which was pretty cool.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like he's written the entire series, and he was telling me about how he selects artists to draw different, you know, because every issue is a different artist. So he was telling me just how that process works, which I thought that was pretty awesome. And I ended up picking his books up. So this one was another one Leela Lee's. I'll hold this up. And this is a new book that just came out this week called The Horde. There's a different cover in the comic book shops.
Oh, okay.
And this was the, you know, like a convention special cover.
Yeah.
So I was
cool.
like,
I like that cover. Yeah.
I don't know if you want to flip through it. But Crystal and I met Leela Lee's in at the New York Comic-Con special edition show. Mm-hmm. And it was literally her first show in America. Like that was just like a crazy thing. So like, you know, coming back and seeing her at another show and like how far she's progressed, because like she works with Aftershock, and she's been doing books with them ever since, you know.
Yeah, this looks cool.
Yeah, and actually Marshall Dillon lettered that book too.
I saw his name on the cover.
Yeah,
That's great.
I was like, yeah, I know Marshall Dillon. She's like, oh yeah, he's a great guy. And she basically was like, I never met him. I don't know him. But I was like, no, he's cool. He's cool. And so that was just one of them cool things, you know, just to meet, you know, see somebody progress like that. And then, and her works, I mean, you got to follow her Instagram if any, like, because she'll doodle the craziest stuff. Mm-hmm. And
yeah, I saw something in there. It was interesting.
Yeah, this is it's an interesting book. Basically, Horde is about this girl inherits the family house, but the house is like possessed.
Gotcha. So
yeah. So that's the Horde apparently.
Yeah,
so.
I know. I saw the thing that kind of looked like a Cenobite mixed with like the three-breasted lady from
right
from whatchamacallit.
Yeah. The other person that I wanted to mention was this was just me being a crazy loon, not wearing a Hannibal mask. Was I met Carl Moline?
Oh yeah,
who had illustrated all the Buffy comics for quite a while. I don't know if you remembered him. And he did Frey.
Was that his name?
Yeah, I think Carl Moline, right?
There were two like main artists. There was Carl Moline, I think first, and then George's.
I'm thinking of George's Jonti.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
He came later,
right?
He also did a lot, but yeah, Carl Moline did a lot too.
That's right. So this was Carl, and he was talking about how long he's been in the business. I'm like, wait, how old are you? And he's like 46. I'm like, I'm 40. God. I'm 47. Yeah,
I'm almost 46.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. And he's like, I've been. But like, what was crazy about him was he was just talking so much about the positivity of life, and then he had like this philosophy that he wanted to share, and I was like, dude, you're like, I was like, you're so on my wavelength, you're freaking me out. Like, because he's just had all these crazy deep thoughts that he wanted to share. And I was like, this is like the best. And then I was like, well, you know, like, how much are your prints? He's like, I don't even care. He's like, this is worth more to me than money. Like this conversation. And I was like, oh my God, like, this is so cool. And I was just like, this is like a soul brother kind of thing. You know, I was like, this is weird, dude. And like, I even threw out, because I always have these crazy thoughts about life. And I even threw a couple at him just to see what he would do. And he's like, that's really cool. That's really interesting. And then, you know, I was like, okay, you're messing with me now. And no, but it was awesome. Yeah,
that's great.
So
that's nice because you don't often get interactions with that level at a show like this. You know, where
right.
Most people, I mean, not in a bad way, but most people are there for a specific reason to get exposure or to make some bucks or to get in front of the fans.
Yeah.
But to have like a real like personal,
like a real conversation.
Yeah, like something that you'll remember.
Yeah.
For a while. That's he's right. That is worth more than money.
He was. Yeah. He was great. And now he's trying to basically he's making inroads back into comics. He said he got out of it for a little bit, but still working. Graphic design. Doing his thing.
Oh, he's a talented dude.
Oh, yeah, he's like multi-talented.
I never really
designer.
I never really knew that he. I kind of forgot about him, but I just, I would have not thought that he was out of the game.
Right, and that's usually I think what happens with a lot of comic artists too is they just change and go into a different field or something. Mm-hmm. I think I even like Guy Davis is my favorite. Like he's my guy. He's my guy.
Yeah.
But I saw his name just the other night on something he was credited, and I was like, "What?" Like on a show, like because he's in like doing Hollywood type stuff now. So, it's like, well, that's why I didn't keep drawing BPRD. Like that makes sense. But there was tons of other people we talked to. We met so many people there, and I can't think of all of them. And I actually still want to write just do a written review for the. For the site.
Yeah.
So, but I'll leave it at that. And, Baltimore is like a slam dunk show, to go.
Oh, absolutely.
So,
yeah. I mean, I haven't been in years, but I still remember going. And yeah, I mean, I need to get back.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure it's only grown by leaps and bounds since I've been there.
The Friday day is awesome too, because if you have books that you want signed or get artwork, you jump in and there's no wait.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a little bit of wait, like we were standing by Jeff Lemire he was busy.
Sure.
Like,
yeah.
nonstop.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think who else we saw that was just funny. Oh shoot, I can't remember his name. I'll put it up in the photos.
Okay.
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
But
well,
anyway,
awesome.
Baltimore. Go see it next year.
Definitely.
So. And I'll pull my mask down. Back into character.
Well, just to real quick transition from that to another show, since we are the official podcast of the Three Rivers Comic Con.
We are.
Yes. So there have been a couple of, just to throw it out there real quick, we've got a couple of guest announcements.
Ooh.
That I got the okay to. Well, they were already announced at the last cosplay karaoke that we had down at the Hard Rock. But I know a couple people that are coming that I'm not authorized to reveal yet.
He's got inside info.
But the ones I can reveal, Brett Breeding is coming back.
All right.
If you're a fan of like '90s Superman, he was a big right, Duke. He did a lot of work with like Ron Friends and it was like a 90s Superman mafia of those guys over at DC. And Guy Gilchrist.
Oh, nice.
Who did a lot of work on the Muppets.
Yeah.
Comic.
Yeah, I met him recently.
Oh yeah.
Out at it's not, I don't know what they call the show. It was like Cleveland Comic Con. He is awesome.
Yeah, well,
That dude is so nice.
Well, he's coming to town.
And he has tons of artwork for sale, like Muppet stuff. Like,
Yeah.
it's so good. So
And I think he also did some work on like TMNT.
yeah.
And some I don't remember exactly what, but the guy's got a huge body of work.
Yeah, he does. And he has all this original artwork he has with him, like, for sale. And it's incredible.
Yeah.
He was super nice. He was like their celebrity at that show. Like, they had one, you know, like, and we got to talk to him for like 10 minutes.
Nice.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
So he's coming to town. And like I said, Brett Breeding, who I think he was not at the last year's Three Rivers Comic Con, but I think he was at the one the year before,
Yeah.
or maybe he was there. I don't remember. It's all blur, but yeah. So more guests as they are announced.
That's awesome.
And John also wanted me to remind everyone that for announcements like this and for to get advanced notices and a heads up on all kinds of things about the Three Rivers Comic Con, that there is a specific 3RC mailing list that you can sign up for. So if you go to threeriverscomiccon.com, you can sign up to kind of be first in the know for all that 3RC goodness. So let's see.
Oh yeah, I met Frank Cho. I forgot that.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah. Well, I haven't met him before.
Wait, I was gonna say you've probably met him before.
I met him
right?
many. Yeah, but yeah, Frank Cho was
Yeah.
there too. Oh my God.
The Monkey Boy.
Yeah.
Himself.
He had his book of Outrage.
Oh, right.
So is all the collected sketch covers that he's done. They were all collected into one book.
Oh my gosh.
I had to buy it. I was like, yeah, give me that.
I mean, talk about like taking something and just making
Yeah.
money hand over fist
Yeah.
over it. I mean,
So good.
yeah, God love you, Frank Cho. Keep making that money, man, off of his boobs and butts. Keep it going. So I don't know. You guys want to talk about some comics?
Sure.
Sure.
Cool. I'm gonna go first if you guys don't mind.
Go for it.
So I think it's no big secret my feelings overall about the Batman
Oh boy.
of late. No, but this is good.
Okay.
This is good. So
City of Bane.
no, I it's not any of the regular issues.
Oh.
I heard about the annual
Oh.
Batman Annual number 4, written by Tom King.
Nice.
But also, but the art by Jorge, I think it's Fornes, who I'm a big fan of. He's got a great, clean style. It's very reminiscent of like a David Mazzucchelli. So like, and the annual is basically a series. It's the title of it is From the Diary of Alfred Pennyworth. And it's literally like just a series of 1 or 2, maybe at the most 3-page vignettes, just these short blasts of Batman's career. And this is like old school Batman, where he's like, he looks like year 1 Batman because he's got like the black cape, but he's got like the kind of the big bulky belt, utility belt, no gadgets, no armor, nothing like that. But it's just it's Alfred telling these, just recounting different adventures and cases for over the years, and it's everything from like Batman chasing bank robbers on horseback over the roofs of Gotham, to him like fighting a dragon in the middle of Gotham City because Gotham is apparently cursed, to him fighting a ultimate like a mixed, like an MMA fighter for charity, and to a murder mystery, to he's riding a kaiju at one point, and he catches a train from underneath it. He's in space, he's underwater. It's all these like great classic, like almost like Silver Agey types of stories, and like I said, they're all just real quick hits. Like they start off when the book starts. It's like the stories are, they're not even really stories. Like I said, they're just these adventures or cases told from Alfred's recounting them in his diary. I think the first one is like 4 pages, and the next ones are like 3 pages each. And it's funny because as it gets towards the end, it's just like real quick blasts. Like one panel is this, one panel is this, one panel is this, and it's just
nice.
And it's just these great single images, and and I loved it. Like, this is a book that you could give to anyone. Like, ignore the fact that it's an annual. It's like a great because I feel like annuals get a bad rap because people, I think, tend to skip them, or like, there's like nothing important happens in this one or whatever if it's not part of an event or something.
Atlantis attacks.
So, but this is, I'll say this: anyone who likes Batman or who's at all remotely interested in just reading a pure Batman book with no ties to any events, any other characters. I think you get a glimpse of like Robin at one point and like Catwoman, but like, again, it's almost like photographs.
Yeah.
It's almost like a photo album of all these just crazy events that happen throughout, this period of time in Batman's career. And I loved reading it. It was amazing. And like I said, it was written by Tom King, who I've got like a love-hate relationship with. But the art was amazing. Oh, and Mike Norton does some of the art too. He fills in towards the end.
Oh.
And he does a really good job of like he apes Fornes's style enough to keep it like a continuity of art styles, but you can still tell it's still Mike Norton.
Yeah.
But he does a really good job of keeping the art like kind of on task. It makes me a little sad and a little upset that there wasn't more of this type of storytelling in the regular Batman series.
Right.
It's like if there had been more just fun stories like this, I might have stuck around.
What about Kite Man?
Okay, I'll give you Kite Man.
Hell yeah!
But I just feel like his run overall, while yes, I know it's like critically acclaimed, and I did enjoy it for a bit. It always felt very heavy. You know what I mean? Like his Tom King's run, I think he's got a lot to say, and he really knows the type of story he wants to tell. But there's like, if he had just infused a portion of the joy and fun and like sheer sense of adventure that, if he took just a portion of that from this annual and was able to spread it out throughout his book, I think it would have made it a better balanced book, as opposed to what I feel it is just, like I said, it's just real heavy, it's real dark, it's just moody, and like I said, I that's part of the reason. Like I said, I stopped reading because I just stopped enjoying it.
Okay.
But this annual is like the anti that.
Okay.
So
did this just come out?
I think like maybe a week or
it was like a few weeks ago.
Yeah,
okay.
like a week or two ago.
I missed it, I guess. I'll have to look for it.
See, exactly. See, people miss annuals.
Yeah.
And again, through no fault of their own. Well, I mean, like I said, some people purposely skip an annual. I mean, I know I've skipped annuals.
So, a lot of annuals are bad, if only because sometimes they'll tie into the story, but other times they'll just be not the original writer for the run. Like, it'd be like Tom King didn't write the annual; it was just some extra up and coming writer that they're like,
fill in.
Here, write a Batman story, and then you're like, well, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, you're totally right, Link. Sometimes like annuals have definitely been used to give like lesser known talent a chance to to
it gives them some work.
Write something or draw something.
The editors get a look at what they can do or not do or whatever. So,
but this annual, it's well worth checking out. I think I heard that this might have been technically the last Batman issue that he has actually written.
85 is the last.
But I mean, I think this,
no, he wrote this after he wrote.
like the timing of it
after he finished the
right. So this was like the last thing that he actually wrote. That's still part of the Batman.
But I guess is he doing a Batman and Catwoman?
He's doing that, yeah.
But I think that doesn't that come out in 2020? Doesn't that
that's
come out?
not too
probably,
far
yeah.
off.
I mean, that's 2 months off.
Yeah,
so
it's not too far away.
Yeah.
But no, like I said, I totally loved this annual, and I would recommend it to anybody. Go get it. Batman Annual number 4.
You're like, buy it, Scott.
Go get it. Yes, I'm looking at you, Hannibal.
Go eat it up.
Enjoy it with a fine Chianti.
There it is. Do you want to go next, or do you want me to
I don't
go?
know who you're pointing at.
Yeah, Spidey.
Yeah, sure. So one of the weird things I've been doing, I've been kind of reading a bunch of limited series from Marvel to catch up on important continuity things that have occurred that are relevant right now. For example, I don't remember if I talked about it on the show, but I read the Life and Times of Captain Marvel a month ago or something because of her Kree parentage is here to stay, I guess.
Yeah.
Which that was a really good book. But the other thing I read was Rage of Ultron because Ultron Hank Pym is a very prevalent thing in like almost every book I've been reading from Marvel. They're doing a big push with him, particularly with the Dan Slott Iron Man book. And apparently that happened in Rage of Ultron, which was an original graphic novel thing that Rick Remender and I'm blanking on the artist, but who were you saying you thought it was?
Jerome Pena.
Yep.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And yeah, so it was an interesting story that was told between two different timelines. The original, like, shortly after, maybe not shortly after Ultron was a thing, but early on it was like, Quicksilver, Wanda, and like all those folks taking on Ultron, tricking him into launching himself into space, or they like trapped him in a thing and like shot him off into the sun or something. And then the fallout of that, which is like the modern day Marvel, where it's Spider-Man. I was telling Dan on the car ride over, Sabretooth.
Oh yeah,
because I guess that was a thing. And some of the more modern people. Obviously Falcon, Captain America, and Jane Foster Thor. So
okay,
all of them dealing with the fallout of Ultron coming back. And it was like a whole story about trying to think of the best way to say, like Hank Pym's relation with Ultron and AI in general, I guess. At the tail end of it, like at the beginning, you see Hank being very hopeful about AI and like maybe Ultron can change and blah blah blah. And then by in modern day, Hank Pym's like, nah, fuck it, kill every robot. And Vision's like, what the fuck? So there's like this whole like argument over like the ethics of killing AI and this and that. And long story short, at the end of this story, somehow Hank Pym and Ultron become one. Hank Pym makes some like ultimate sacrifice kind of thing, and like they merge with Ultron. Wow. Which is why there's a half Ultron Hank Pym that's running around the Marvel universe right now.
But
when it first came out, I totally skipped it because I was like, oh, it's an original graphic novel, whatever. I'll get to it if I hear good things. And then all of a sudden, I think I was reading Ant-Man by Nick Spencer, and they're like, oh yeah, by the way, Hank Pym's dead. And I was like, when did that happen?
You're like, wait.
Yeah, see, I didn't even know that. I knew about Rage of Ultron, but I never bothered to pick it up because I just thought, oh, it's just like they're going to tell like an out of continuity
exactly
story, and I'm sure it's good because it's got like quality people behind it, but I'm not really interested in reading it.
Yeah,
but I feel like I'm going to read it.
Yeah, no, it seemed very relevant to a lot of the stuff. Like, I was reading the second issue of Agents of Wakanda, and in that particular issue, they were showing everybody like their greatest fears and nightmares, and there was Ultron, Hank Pym terrorizing the Wasp, and I was like, okay, I guess this is a thing. This is what we're worrying about.
How great is it that we have Spider-Man here talking about the Rage of Ultron?
Yep.
He's like, here I am sitting there trying to have a nice,
whip.
Pretty amazing, yeah. Spectacular.
But yeah, no, it was a really good read. I want to say it was like maybe 80, 90 pages or something worth of comic for like $15.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was.
Oh, that's awesome.
And it's like hardcover. It was a nice, like, kind of slightly oversized.
Yeah.
It was pretty cool.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure, and I always forget that they do this, but I subscribe to Marvel Unlimited.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure it's on there.
And I always forget that they do that. They have been known to put on like their OGNs and their Treasury edition, or not Treasury editions, but like remember back in the day, Duke, you probably remember they had like their original graphic novels that were like the oversized, tabloid size things.
Like the Captain Marvel.
Yeah,
like
Death of Captain
original.
Marvel. Yeah. They have some of those on Marvel Unlimited too, but I know they definitely have Rage of Ultron.
Nice.
So I'll have to check.
Yeah, go for it.
I'm gonna probably read that tonight.
Sweet.
Like I'm jumping in.
I'm gonna turn on my disco ball.
Yeah, there you go.
And read it.
Get in rage.
That's right.
Yeah, rage while you're with your poof of hair. I picked up Marvel Comics 1000, and I think since I think you mentioned it today, like while we were just talking back and forth about the show, and bam, there it is.
That's a cool cover for that one. They had like a whole bunch of covers, right?
Yeah, I had to get this
yeah,
one. It was
no,
She-Hulk.
for sure.
She-Hulk's
awesome.
I was gonna say, what a surprise! A little bit of cheesecake.
Oh yeah, my favorite.
Who did that? Who did that cover?
I can't even remember now. It looks like a T and a T there, but I'd have to open it and look But yeah, they had like tons of artists. Listen to that sound. Woo! Crack that open. Yeah. Oh my god. Yeah, there were so many covers.
Is that the one where each page is a different artist?
Yeah, they basically. So I feel like I might have, or maybe I wanted to talk about this on the last episode, and I just didn't get a chance. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to find the cover artist on that just yet.
There's like,
there's so many
40 to 50 artists.
But I love it, and it's like and even like this image, it's like classic 80s, because it's like if you look down here in the corner, you got like Grey Hulk and black suit Spider-Man. You know, it's like totally out of the 80s.
Well, she's wearing a Walkman, for God's sake.
Yeah, she's got the Walkman. Yeah, it's an 80s.
That's totally
homage. Thor has the beard. Do you remember the beard?
Oh, bearded Thor. With the armor.
Yeah,
that was when his bones were brittle.
Yeah. So, Al Ewing actually wrote the majority of this.
Yeah, I heard about that.
The writer of Immortal Hulk, and he spun quite the story over basically over 80 years. But each page is like a year of Marvel, and so some of them are just like, hey, we're this like the first appearance of the Torch, 1939.
Yeah,
and so but it opens with that, and then they but Al Ewing writes there's a lot of guest artists in the book, but Al Ewing writes like this narrative that kind of flows through a lot of the story. And when he's writing it, you're reading something that's been happening throughout all of the Marvel universe, and it's like this. They're trying to trace this mask that different characters have worn, and by the end of the book, you find out that it's actually Eternity, the abstract or whatever, actually gave it to man or something, and that the power when you wear this mask, you have the power of your enemies. Like you have the same level of power, so that you're able to meet your enemy at the same level that they're coming at you.
Okay.
So like that's the power.
Mm-hmm.
So whoever wears it, if they're a galactic scale character, they would have that level of power. Or if they're just in a fist fight, they're the same. They're at the same strength of that guy.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like a even,
Mm-hmm.
but like different characters wore it throughout, and that's basically like kind of what. So I just for that reason, I thought it made it work. Like it was a little jarring to read, because not all of them were like, hey, that's the first appearance. Like for instance, 1951, they're like Strange Tales premieres.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and then and Darth Vader, they were like the first. Star Wars sold 1 million copies in 1977. It was the first 1 million copy book. And but I'm like, all right, but Darth Vader, it's not Marvel Universe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they're like, yeah, whatever. So
Did they throw? Did they happen to throw Conan in there at all?
yeah, Conan's
Did
in
they?
there
Okay.
in the 72, I think,
Nice.
Did they slip Angela
70
in there?
Angela, I think might be in there.
Trying to think of
trying
other
remember.
weird milestones or
Yeah.
things that occurred.
Deadpool appeared 3 times.
Well, of
and
course.
Yeah.
And then they made a self-referential joke to that.
Nice.
But he appeared like what they said, something like, Cable forms the New Mutants,
Mm-hmm.
and Deadpool's in the panel. He makes a joke about him. But they don't say like Deadpool first
Yep.
appears, and then they're
Yeah.
like Deadpool #1, later on, and then like he's back at the end, and he's like,
Like
hey, I'm
Deadpool
back.
_1 again.
Yeah, he's like, hey, I'm back again. It was an interesting read. It actually took me two different sittings to get through it all.
Yeah, no,
So,
that's a thick.
Now, is it self-contained? Like it's just that issue? Like
Well-
that tells like the history?
Apparently, I mean, according to the guys at the comic shop, there's another issue.
There's 1001,
Yeah,
which is coming out or came out. I
it
can't
may have
remember.
already came out, but
But I
it's-
remember hearing about it. I was like, okay, what's going on? That's weird.
Yeah, I think they just want to keep trying to run with it and like maybe get more sales. Honestly,
Well, sure, yeah.
Yeah, or to launch this it's the Eternity Mask, and they may be just trying to launch that as a concept.
Gotcha.
Maybe as a book in the future.
And then, like I was telling you, they have the history of Marvel or whatever it's called, which is like a 6-issue Mark Waid
Oh, right.
thing.
Yeah, that's why.
I heard that was pretty good, but
Yeah, it's an interesting idea. But it's also weird because just of how they're trying to like use it as like not a blueprint, but like a.
it's almost like revisionist history.
Yeah, it's like a revisionist history retcon of like, this is what it is. This is what it's always been.
Would that fall into Jared's new genre of comics as the unnecessary?
Yeah, I believe it would.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's one of those things where you're like, okay, I guess they weren't in Vietnam because we don't want to make Punisher that old.
Right.
But it's Vietnam.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a war.
Yeah.
It was a war in the jungle. That's all you need to know.
Yeah.
Time is irrelevant.
Well, time slides in comic books. I mean,
Yeah, I always thought
it's
that.
on a slide.
Yeah, exactly. I always
Yeah.
thought that it was like there was like a sliding scale that was just understood.
Yeah, like
You
it's
know.
time's just compressed there. You just roll
Yeah.
with it because
Yeah.
Magneto's was in World War II and he wasn't cryogenically frozen, so if we figure it out, he's X amount of years old, and
Right.
why isn't he dead yet?
Yeah.
That kind of thing. And like 10 years, they're like, oops.
In the
But then just I don't know. It's whatever. It's comics. Roll
Yeah.
with it.
Yeah, that's better.
And the weird and unfortunate thing about the whole sliding scale is like to use Magneto again as an example, it's like, in recent years, like a big part of his character was the fact that he was a Holocaust survivor.
Yeah.
And so now, I guess.
I always use this because of when I started reading comics, but when Kitty Pryde appeared, I always felt that every 5 years of comic books was 1 year for her.
Okay.
Like for the X-Men. And that's how I kind of guessed then everybody is based on this 5 year equals 1 year
Yeah.
in book.
Mm-hmm.
So then I would just try to figure out like maybe how old they are based on that, or how old they've become.
Yeah, no, I was reading a book. I can't remember what it was. I think it might have been like one of the Bendis Avengers things or X-Men or something. But like, it was like maybe 2 or 3 years ago, and somebody casually mentioned that like Secret Invasion was like 6 months ago in their universe. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
that was a very long time ago.
You know, considering all the things they run up against, like how crazy would that?
Yeah, they're like, oh, it was Civil War 1 month, and then we had the Secret Invasion, and then then Norman Osborn took over for a weekend.
And I think
they never get a breather.
Batman kind of did it too with all the Robins, because they're like, well, he has like 5 Robins.
Oh yeah,
and he's only been in Batman for 5 years.
Yeah,
so then I was like, well, it kind of fits my whole idea.
He goes through Robins like we go through like paper towels.
Right. Yeah. The quicker picker-upper. Yeah.
The quicker Crime Stopper.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm gonna segue then. Speaking of DC, I bought and read and thoroughly enjoyed the last issue of Deceased.
Oh yeah.
The out of continuity.
The last issue.
Yes, the 6 of 6.
I didn't read it yet.
Oh, it's really good. Well, then I won't say too much about. Well, there's not really a ton to spoil. I mean, you saw did you read
Superman?
You read the last issue.
Yeah. Oh, Superman and Flash was great.
Yes.
Like what a combo of destruction.
So if you've not been following this, Deceased is basically DC's version of Marvel Zombies, but it was the world is infected by the anti-life equation that was somehow filtered through Cyborg in the first issue, and it turns everyone into, I mean, essentially zombies. They're like techno zombies or something.
Yeah, it's like
you can't.
The equation drives you mad, and you start attacking everything that lives.
Right, including yourself. Like people tear at their own skin, and so they've in this last issue, they've got kind of 2 sanctuaries. They've got what they call the Gotham Jungle, which is run by Poison Ivy and Harley, where they've got 6 or 7 million people, saved, and then they've got Paradise Island, Themyscira, is another sanctuary.
Yeah.
Where they actually, I thought this was cool. I think it was in the last issue where
5.
They actually, like between Superman and Wonder Woman, and they raised
Aquaman's wife.
Yeah, Mara.
Yeah.
They raised the island to give it more land mass,
right,
to hold more people.
Yeah.
But sadly, in issue 5, the Flash gets infected, which means he could infect everyone probably in a matter of minutes all over the world because he's the fastest man alive. So
literally blazing a trail across the earth.
Yeah. So Superman's the only one who could stop him, and he does, but in doing so becomes infected himself.
Yeah.
And then he flies out into space, and you're not sure what happens. But then in this issue, we see the ramifications of his infection, and it's not good. But they have a plan from beyond the grave. Batman still has a plan,
of course.
So they, what I really liked most about this book was, that in the end it wasn't. I mean, technically, yes, it was Batman who saved the day, but he got killed very early on.
Yeah,
he got killed in like the second issue.
Yeah,
Superman lasted until issue 5. And so really the big players that are left are Wonder Woman, Green Arrow, Black Canary, who's a Green Lantern now because she kind of inherited Hal Jordan's ring because he got infected.
Yeah.
Cyborg, Mara, and a bunch of other like second stringers like Firestorm is around and a bunch of other people. And they've decided, like they figured out, Earth is done.
Yeah.
They've built these arcs to take them away from Earth and to, start new somewhere else. The zombie Superman has something to say about that, or something to grunt about that. But there's there's someone comes in to help at the end. I won't say who.
Okay.
But and the way it ends in a way that, like, okay, there could be more of this. There could be more deceased, and I mean, this was just such a surprise book.
You know what? At first I didn't like how they were playing it at first, because I don't know why. I just was like, this feels like the wrong, like it's colliding too much with the whole zombie thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like DC's colliding with it instead of it kind of joining. But like, actually, what I liked about it ultimately was that they still worked it like the Justice League would work a case. You know, like they still worked the same way, even though they were getting slaughtered.
They were still superheroes.
Yeah, and
they were still saving
acting
people
like themselves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like-
they didn't like break down and like
Yeah.
turn on each other, and
Right.
like how you see in like all the zombie movies
Yeah.
and TV shows.
Yeah.
No, you're right. They
They still acted like heroes,
Yeah.
for sure. And they still acted like themselves in a DC comic and not in a zombie apocalypse.
Right.
You know, they were like, this is what we're dealing with today.
Yep.
You know, so
Yeah. But no, it was just a great final issue, and I really do hope that they do like a follow up to it.
my favorite scene actually was, I really like Lex Luthor's characterization in it.
Yeah.
And spoilers, but Metropolis is, one of the, victims, that
Yeah.
falls.
Oh yeah, that was crazy too, the way that happened.
Yeah, and oh yeah,
It was the Atom.
The Atom,
who was infected, who got inside of Captain Atom.
Yeah.
And infected Captain Atom from the inside.
And Captain Atom just nuked everything.
Yeah, he lost control.
He incinerated.
I mean, Captain Atom is literally, he's a walking atom bomb.
Yeah. So he just incinerated it. And like Luthor comes up to Superman and he's just like, what did they do to our city? And like the way
he was in tears, and
I was like, oh man, Lex Luthor shook. And he's like, I'm trying to help too. And it was like, and they were even like, what, it's too bad you weren't a hero sooner,
Right.
like to Lex Luthor, because holy cow, we would do some things.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, I was too busy robbing banks, or something like that. It was kind of funny.
Oh, and there's also like towards the end of the issue, there's a gut punch too. Well, literally, and there's a literal gut punch, and there's also a figurative one where, there's some information revealed about the anti-life virus, it's like you can't have a totally happy ending for any kind of zombie.
Yeah.
There's always got to be some tragedy.
Right.
And there's some tragedy here. I mean, ultimately, it's a quote unquote happy ending, but this 6-issue Deceased series has been just a real
And they even had that spin-off.
real surprise.
Did you get the spin-off book?
Yes, it was like a 1-issue. It was called like a Good Day to Die.
Day to Die, yeah.
Yeah, and that was really cool because that had a
Yeah.
bunch of kind of like C-list.
Yeah, other heroes
people.
that basically didn't get collected up with the main title.
Yeah, but they were like fighting.
John Constantine was great because he was he's like, no, I'm going to the bar and waiting this out. But then of course he's like, I'm a hero.
He kind of he gets wrapped up in it no matter what.
Yeah, he gets pulled back into it.
Who else was in it? Like Booster Gold?
Yeah,
and Blue
Booster.
Beetle.
That was their plan, was to send Booster back and try to change the outcome. By changing history.
Yeah.
And that other guy, that time cop or whatever, was like, no, I won't let you. And then they just screwed that guy over.
Yeah. Yeah, that was I forgot about that. That was a good issue too.
Yeah.
But yeah, Duke, I think you'd probably agree with me, but I would highly recommend
for
picking this up if you once it's collected.
You have to check it out. It sounds cool.
It's a good read.
Yeah, you should definitely read it.
Yeah, when they first built it, I wasn't really sure what it was going to be because that was right around when they announced like 3 events or whatever. So we were.
Yeah.
I remember we were talking about it. I was like,
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. It's like
But
it's like, is it really you're doing another event? But it really was like a just this side thing.
See that they should stress that more in when they announce things. Just be like, this is standalone. Just like clarify that before it.
They probably should have made it like a black label.
So, yeah, exactly.
I mean,
why not? Like that's.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like you'd have to really. You could have left it as is because it was violent enough as is. You wouldn't have to like, oh, it's black label. We better add in all kinds of.
Add some more F-bombs or something.
Yeah,
pretty much.
I mean, they could have just made it black label because everyone knows that black label is out of continuity. Plus, I feel like just Deceased is not a great title.
Nope.
It's kind of like it's kind of an eye roll.
Yeah, it was definitely a weird pun.
Yeah, but is it like DC Ember? No. You're like, hey, watch it.
I stand by that name.
Yeah, it's a good name. DC Ember.
December.
Yeah.
Yep.
December. Yeah.
Hey, December is coming up.
It is coming up.
You better
get your pencils ready.
That's right. December is where you draw a DC character once a day during the month of December.
Yeah. It's a good one.
Yeah, it's fun.
One. Yeah.
It's fun. Let's see. I think we're still good. We probably got a few minutes left. I know, Duke, you got to peel out a little early, but we'll probably wrap this up soon. You got anything else
I got one more.
Okay.
Do you have?
Mine's kind of a can of worms talk. So.
Well, I'm gonna do this one quick.
Yeah, go for it.
Okay. Speaking of Black Label, DC Black Label, I picked up the Joker Harley Criminal Sanity book. There it is for the viewers at home.
Oh, I did not know about this one.
I saw that and I was kind of surprised that there was another Joker Harley book so soon after the Harleen book.
Yeah, I agree. I was like, why? Like they are just top loading the Batman stuff. It seems.
There's also
like, what are you doing to us?
A solo Joker Black Label book coming out.
Yes. There's no shortage. It's
like Jeff Lemire's writing it, I think.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
That I mean, that sounded interesting.
So this one, I guess I wasn't too excited about. I'll just start with that. Like art wise, it's the writing and art are good. Like it's just the story isn't catching me. Basically, writer Cami Garcia, and then the artists are a duo. It's Miko Suyan, who does half the art in the book, and then Mike Mayhew does the other half, and it's because they do flashbacks.
Sure, yeah.
So, Dr. Harley Quinn in this edition is, basically investigating a case, and she's on the trail of a serial killer, who they think is the Joker. Like, she thinks it's the Joker, but in this story, the Joker hasn't been seen for a number of years.
Okay.
And they believe that he's actually he's dead or gone or whatever. But she's still not quite convinced, that he's gone forever. So that's kind of why I think that's her level of interest in this book. But for me, this just feels like like there's some pretty violent images, and it feels like something on Cinemax, or something. Like it just seems
like gratuitous or
like gritty, but not really for a good reason.
Oh, okay.
Like it's just like, here's a body cut in half on a couch,
Yeah,
just
so gratuitous.
Violent for the sake of being violent.
But it's also like it's not necessarily my preference to read crime scene comic books.
Sure, yeah.
Which is pretty much what this is. So I think I could be the wrong audience for it too. And the reason I picked it up is because I love Mike Mayhew's art. So
sure, yeah.
That's why I went with it. He's done incredible work on Star Wars recently, and I was like, wow. For the price, I think it was, $5.99, for a oversized book.
Are all Black Label books oversized like that?
I think so, yeah.
Most of them. There's a few that aren't.
There is.
I want to say that, like, Well, White Knight is a Black Label book.
Oh,
and that's
okay.
a regular size comic. So, but yeah, it feels like a lot are going towards the magazine size when they're like, these weird one-off like original series kind of things.
But yeah, there wasn't much. For me, there was not much of a hook at all. I think this is a 3-issue series, and I was just like, okay, it's just going to be a crime book, and I'm just like,
yeah,
you know, and it's Dr. Harley Quinn, but it's like I don't know, if they're going to go origin, you know, or what they're trying to do with this book, but it just seems like it's just a crime investigation, and I'm like, you know, I could watch another 48,
so it's
48 hours or whatever.
CSI Gotham.
Yeah, and it is kind of like that too. But yeah, it's just not my cup of tea, I think. So, but the art is, you know, awesome.
Yeah,
for sure. It's all very, very super realistic. So, you know, I'll say that about it. So,
okay,
if you're into that, pick it up. So, okay.
Spiderlink.
So, this is the can of worms thing here, but I mainlined on the airplane. I was down at Disney, but on the flight back and forth, I read all of Hoxpox. So all of House of X and Powers of X.
Yeah.
And I know that you've been wanting to talk about that for like ever, Scott.
The can of worms, yeah.
Yeah. It was awesome.
Yeah.
It was super cool. It was nice to read a Jonathan Hickman book that was self-contained.
Right.
Like I didn't. When I first read the first issues of each part, I was like, "What did I miss?"
Yeah.
But it turned out I didn't miss anything. It was just the way that they were telling the story. But yeah, it was such an interesting premise. The main premise more so being Moira's various
mutant ability.
Her mutant ability to be reincarnated, basically to run Lola, run it every time.
Yeah,
like every time she died, she got a new shot at like X-Men continuity, basically. And I kind of felt as if it almost addressed like the conflicting continuities throughout all the years of
I think so too.
Of X-Men, where they're like, time travel, this, that, it's fine. It's just each one's a different timeline.
Yeah.
Everything else in all the other books play out the same. Don't worry about it. Don't think about it too much.
Moira died, I think, at one time, but then they're just like, no, she's back.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. She like one timeline she like tried to cure the mutant gene, and then they killed her for it.
Yeah.
And so she allies with them. And long story short, like that's how they get to this point that they're currently at, where she said, "Hey, I've lived a million lives, and it sucks every time. Here, we need to make an attempt to like do this very specific like master plan of mine to ensure the future of the mutant species."
And that's what the whole Powers of X was really like, the Powers of 10, right?
Yeah, there's that, yeah.
By year 1000, it was like the final confrontation.
Yes.
And they knew, like, that was her final thing, is she found out for sure, because 1,000 years later, her and Wolverine were the only ones still alive.
Yeah,
and
the only mutants that couldn't be killed.
Yeah, and it wasn't through necessarily just through them, but it was also through that garden that they were contained in.
Yeah, they were contained in some kind of
like a zoo, basically.
Like, yeah.
On Earth, and but she found out. She's like, no, we still don't win. Like, even at the very end of all of this conflict, the mutants still don't win, and that's what she comes back with, and that's what launches the new series.
Yeah,
is like she comes back, tells Charles. And then it's all of a sudden it's on fast pace in your mind, because like she told, you read it in the first issue that she's going to tell Charles all this stuff. And then they've unpacked it over these 12 different books. And it's like, oh, it's like, oh, wow. Okay. And then that's where it ends, is with them in year 1. Like, this is what we're doing now. Like we have the island, we have our own our own sanctuary,
their own government, and like all this stuff.
we
And they're
all-
just like, this is how it's going to be, and
our foundational rules.
it feels like everybody's just sort of just like, yeah, sure, like they kind of know what's
Everybody's
up.
on
Like,
board.
like I don't know if
except for Sabretooth.
yeah, except for Sabretooth.
Poor guy. Not really.
But yeah, they it's hard to tell, but like I feel as if everybody just got on board real quick. They're like, Apocalypse is here, sure. Mr.
Yeah.
Sinister, okay. Like whatever.
Yeah.
Gorgon, like anybody and everybody that's ever been like something,
Yeah.
good or bad, was just like, okay.
Even when they, I think you read the early issues, but
Yes.
even when they met the Fantastic Four and they were like,
Oh yeah, that was in the first issue.
yeah,
Yeah.
and they're like Franklin, to Franklin, they're like, hey, you're welcome to join us.
Yeah,
when-
there was
whenever
like
you want.
the few people. Yeah, it was like
Yeah.
Franklin and Namor who were kind of like,
yeah, Namor's like, no. yeah.
yeah, Namor's like, I'm good. I'm the king
He's
of
like,
Atlantis.
been
Yeah.
there, done that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. But they also brought in Mr. Sinister, which was a strange choice, considering he's not a mutant, but he's because he's such a successful
Yeah, exactly.
geneticist.
Yeah.
He,
I guess that's the most interesting part, is just how they made it all work. They're like, gold balls is super integral to the plan of
Gold
the survival of mutants.
Oh my god, I forgot about gold
Because
balls.
gold balls are like little, I guess, eggs.
they're actually eggs.
That
like-
they're like housing, like they are like in that first issue where they pop out. Those are just genetic.
Those are his
Oh.
gold balls.
Yeah, they.
I love
yeah.
saying it like that. Yeah.
They're genetic clones, and Professor X works with Forge to create 5 different backups across the entire planet
Oh yeah.
of every single mutant mind that exists through like the use of an upgraded Cerebro. And so there's just like, backup data,
So they have data backups of every mutant's
and
personality.
they can make any mutant if they die.
Yeah.
Basically, it's
Which
wild. The whole thing's just
That's
like
really
ridiculous.
Which then they actually did kill off the X-Men in that one plan.
Yeah. They
And-
died and then they came back
and
and
the
they're
next-
like, we got the plan.
It's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like,
Mission accomplished.
Yeah.
Even though we all died.
it's like what?
But yeah, no, the whole premise is just super interesting. Just how it's all executed. I'm like, wow, Hickman, you really
He's a madman.
you just thought this all out.
He
Yeah.
just swung for the fences.
Yeah.
He's a madman, and you're right. Like that's the big thing about Hickman though is, like when you start reading the first one, you're in for 5 years.
Yeah.
Or more, and you don't know. You're like, oh my god, like is it
Yeah,
ever
and
going to end?
even though there's like an ongoing.
But you can honestly read these 12 issues and be
yeah, like I
and
feel
be
like I want to read the solo X-Men book now because I'm
Yeah.
like, okay, this is really good.
right.
But I also feel as if like you could read this and be like, well, okay, cool.
And you
I
got
know
the-
that there's a new
And
status
then you
quo.
have the layout for future books if you
Yeah.
don't want to read them.
Exactly. Like
Yeah.
like if you wanted to, like my initial plan was I was gonna look at like Marauders or New Mutants or
Yeah.
something because I was like, that looks cool. Like New Mutants especially looked fun. But I don't need to know anything. I don't need to know anything that happened before because none of it matters.
Yeah.
Like I mean, it matters. Like if they bring up continuity, it's like the New 52. They're like, oh well, this counts. I'm like, okay, cool.
Yeah.
If it doesn't ever get brought up, then I guess it never happened.
Right.
It didn't happen in this
Right.
timeline.
Right.
So it's kind of like a nice fresh slate for X-Men books, without being like bogged down by
it's almost
stuff.
like you could also say that actually the entire timeline of Marvel Comics is Moira's 10th year or 10th life. Like you could say that,
Yeah,
right? Because like everything that we've read in the comic could be that 10th year.
it
or
could
10th
it could be or it could be. That's the
Yeah,
interesting part.
right.
Like that, it's almost it's kind of like what he tried to do with Secret Wars, where he was like,
yeah.
I don't know, they're
Yeah.
the Reed Richards and they made the new universe, and they're like, forget that. The same idea, but with the X-Men.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's just, whatever Moira interfered with would play out differently. And if she didn't interfere, then it's just how it's always been.
Yeah.
So, like, Spider-Man obviously never got, messed with the X-Men continuity, really.
Oh yeah.
I would imagine. I mean, I'm sure he had whatever little team-ups along the way in the
Yeah.
early years, but beyond that, whatever.
Wow.
Yeah.
messes with your head.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, highly recommend checking that
Oh,
out.
for sure.
Not that most,
That's honestly-
everybody's probably already has.
You know what's so
but-
funny is, like when I was going through my box tonight of stuff to pull to read, like I had to buy. I was like, I think we already talked about the X books, and I think we already talked about Deceased. And I was like, oh, wait, all right.
Yep.
These are the books I've been reading.
Yeah.
So I'm like, yahoo.
I will say, I know that I missed out on the water cooler talk each week,
Yeah.
but I think reading it in one shot is the way to do it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I would
really,
say so.
Oh, I just jumped right into it immediately.
Yeah.
Every time I bought it, and I'd
yeah,
read
it helped that it was like
immediately.
once a week, but like, yeah, I was just like, no, I'm good. I don't need to decipher like the hidden language or anything.
And all his pictograms.
Although they did do they did do a whatchamacallit, the characters, what they meant. Like, I'm blanking on the terminology for whatever that's called.
Oh, like their language.
Yeah, but the
Oh,
language,
yeah.
like they were like the A, this symbol is A, this symbol
Oh,
is
yeah,
that.
they do give you that. Yeah.
So
they
I was like,
give you
oh,
a key.
I didn't feel key. That's a
Yeah.
good way to call it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't go back and reread everything, but I did try to decipher a few things in the issue I was reading. I was like, okay, I'm good.
Yeah, I was like,
Maybe if I had like a separate print copy
I
of
was like,
this and didn't have to flip
drink
back
more,
and forth.
drink more Ovaltine.
Yes.
I was like, ah.
Yes, exactly.
So
Read East of West.
yeah. It never ends.
Well, we're nearing the end of our time here at the most wonderful studio in Beachview, Sorgatron Media Studios. So I think we are going to wrap it up unless anyone has any final things to mention.
I don't know where I start and where Spider-Man begins at this point. It's just this is my new identity.
Spider Link.
Yep.
Into the Link verse.
I'm just gonna show up at work with this.
Into the Link verse. Yeah. I'd watch that.
Now,
That'd be cool.
all of a sudden, this rift opens up and all these different links come out.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Well, we're gonna pull the cord on this episode of the Comic Book Pit. I can jettison it.
Yeah.
This has been episode 330, and you can just since we never really mentioned things like this, you can find Comic Book Pit on pretty much all the major social media outlets, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and you can always hit us up on any of those accounts. And you can always email us at comicbookpit@gmail.com with any questions or suggestions, or if you just want to talk, if you just want to rap, we're always there for you.
That's what it is. Is Dan's got a little bit of a Bob Ross thing tonight.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Yes.
Yeah. Happy comic talk.
Bob Moss.
Bob Moss.
So check us out on any of those platforms. Feel free to like and subscribe our podcast. You can find us on Apple Podcasts. We're also on Stitcher, Spotify, and I feel like I'm missing one, but those are the main places to listen to us. And so we'll leave it at that. So this has been episode 330 of the Comic Book Pit. I'm Dan, and with me in the Sorgatron Media Studios, we got Scott.
See you, people.
Free from his restraints. So
He's loose.
He's loose. And Spiderlink.
See.
This one is called Knots in My Hair. Drip, drip, drip. Sunflower neon shadows line the strip as I dip, drip, strip, barefoot in the car, bare chest in the air. Sun, sun, sun. I am the one. I am gliding, riding auto, purple, yellow, blue, yellow. The streetlights flicker and distort my color. I am pink. I think this is it. Trap, trap, and the cheese in your little mouse. No rat. White fur, black brows, red eyes. Tired why? Tired guys asking me if I need a ride, asking if I have a guy or some pride. I have both. Neither matter. I have me. I am me. The skin ripples. Hair covers my nipples as I sip on a watermelon beer. Come hell or high water in my glass. The word he uses is sass, not class. Jazz plays as I take off my dirty denim shorts. You try to run your fingers through my hair, but you get caught in the knots. Just pull hard, pull them out. Thick clumps and bald spots when I pull my hair out, but you won't tell anyone. These knots, these thoughts, they form. Torn, ragged chemical proteins tangle, wrangle my frustrations. So I run a boar bristle brush 100 times through each section of hair. Care about yourself. This self-care. I tear my hair out in clumps. Lumps in my breast reappear after 10 years. The biopsy was negative. Chemical treatment of choice is Yingling. I'm still a young thing. 27 is the new 21 minus the fun and adding the premature wrinkles, laugh lines, but I only smirk. This drip, drip, drip. You dip your fingers through the lock of my knot. The key is my need, and it needs to be torn through the lock. Kill me, toss my knots. Sheet music forms in the clumps of my hair. Play it, a Hungarian suicide song of a gloomy Sunday. 100 deaths in each strand of hair. Play my song. Play his song. Self-care. Take care of my hair. There, sip. Strip, dip, strip me bald.
Everybody check your beard, check your facial hair, check your hair.
Hair on straight.
Is your tie straight?
Oh, yeah.
Is everything?
Oh, yeah. We're dead sexy. We're dead sexy as always.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, just to make you guys look fancier. Something.
Well, you see, what's funny about this, right? We've got the fancy everything up top. What you can't see is down below. We're just absolutely naked.
Nobody's wearing pants.
Okay.
No, strangely, nobody's wearing pants.
For the record, everyone is clothed on this couch.
Yeah.
They better be clothed on this couch.
There's only one person that's taking his pants off on the show.
And that's...
Is it Chest?
No, it's Troy Lords. Yeah, he had your side of the couch.
I got a porn star on my side, and you got naked Troy Lords.
Yeah.
There's something horribly amiss with this.
Yeah, it's like no pants and glitter. It's like a double whammy.
There's going to be glitter on my ass. Which, I mean, that's basically my average weekend.
Well,
so.
that's a Saturday night. All right. Somehow, right? Oh, where'd it go? Where'd it go? Yeah. Oh, absolutely. All right, here we go. It is the Indie Mayhem Show. I'm Mike Sorgatron on the Twitter here in the Sorgatron Media Studios in Pittsburgh, PA. And this is the show where we talk with people in and around independent professional wrestling. And we have a very fancy crew with us tonight. And we'll be talking with them in just a moment. In the meantime, please go check out everything at WrestlingMayhemShow.com and IndieWrestling.us. You can find past episodes of this and other fine podcasts, including the Wrestling Mayhem Show and other podcasts where we talk about wrestling things. And also, a lot of people we talk with on the show are featured over at IndieWrestling.us and IndieWrestling.network, especially our guest tonight. And, of course, you can drop us a line at goodtimes at WrestlingMayhemShow.com or 412-206-WMS0 to hit us up if we have any announced guests coming up that you have any questions for. If you have anybody you think we should have on the show, because, hey, man, there's a lot of wrestling and we don't get to all of it. Hell, we're hardly getting to the TV stuff, let alone the independent stuff. And so if you have any suggestions, please hit us up for any ideas. We are always looking to expand our wrestling friends contact list, I guess. But with us tonight, we have two returns to the show. We have half of the Four Horsemen with us here tonight. Steve LaBelle, the Ronin, with us. And, of course, the sexy fireman, Jason Tyler, is with us as well. How you guys doing?
Oh, perfect.
Doing great.
I think for both of this is your first return to the show. Is that correct?
Absolutely.
And if I may, better dressed than the first time I notice.
I was classy both times, sir. Come on now.
Maybe it's just because you're flanked by the sexy fireman.
That's true.
No, literally, like, I live in hoodies and shorts no matter what time of the year it is. But for the Hossman, we gotta.
That's right.
That's
right.
The part.
So, of course, you guys, as of this recording, this weekend is coming up Prospect Pro Wrestling, which is fast approaching its 1-year anniversary. I want to talk about that as well. And, of course, we kind of talked with you guys individually about things. Well, Stevie, we had you on, I think, after a couple of matches, didn't we?
Yeah.
So it's been a while.
Yeah.
How have things been going for you guys? Now a couple years into the business. First, you, Stevie, since it's been a while since we talked with you.
Things have been going pretty awesome for me. I've been, judo flipping people, kicking people in the head, all these things that I really enjoy. I even got to channel my inner RVD and go coast to coast.
Yes, you did.
Full-on Van Terminators, baby. Full-on Van Terminators.
Excellent. What about you, sexy fireman?
I'm having fun still, shaking my ass, making people motorboat me. Fun times. And wrestling, of course. Yeah.
Awesome. So tell me a little bit about the Four Horsemen is a thing that kind of came out of the last Prospect Pro Wrestling show, which I think was in September, if I'm not mistaken. The big Leechburg show that happened, which was a fun night because I think you guys were in, of course, the Survivor Series style match, but everybody else had a different stipulation that night. That was not known until they got there. So that was kind of a fun thing. But tell me about the Hossman and how that kind of developed with you guys.
So the Hossman was a Marshall Gambino creation. He talked after the match, after he came down to help out Jamie Jameson, and he went on to say that we don't always get the best opportunities, and it's to no one's fault, but he wanted to showcase us together because as individually we can be good, but as a group we're going to be great. And pretty much how I see it is we're just four big guys. We can't do flips. We can't miss 450 coast to coast or shooting star coast to coast. Yeah, I'm looking at you, Johnny Patch. But yeah, it's just
shots fired.
Four big guys that like to hit, and we all have our separate, individual personalities. But when we bring us together, it's going to be fun.
And that is you guys, along with, again, you mentioned Jamie Jameson and Philip Archer as a part of that too. Talk to me about that. I know we've talked with Marshall on the show about Prospect Pro Wrestling, and again, heading into their year anniversary in December now. I know he was really big on, and talked about this a little bit when he kind of brought you guys together in that promo. It's kind of a place for seems to be guys like you to get more opportunities that maybe aren't other places, especially in the Pittsburgh area, right? Tell me about that. How has that helped you guys over the past under a year with that promotion?
Me personally, I'd say it's just helped me become a bit more well-rounded, and incoming jokes from, I'm sure, Dan Hooven about me saying well-rounded.
Yeah.
But it's me getting in there, getting reps, just getting more time in the ring, getting more comfortable in there, and getting to kick more people.
What about you, Jason?
Well, 2PW is just a good place for guys just starting up like myself, like the rest of the Four Horsemen. Marshall's given not everybody a platform to try to get better, get more reps in, learn our craft a little better, and just an opportunity to wrestle. And then build on that last match, and then just keep getting better and better and better until we and just help us hone our craft.
And what kind of steps, for the fan coming in, what kind of sets them apart, you guys think, from like other promotions in the area too? Because it's definitely a little bit different feel than anybody else has going on right now.
Yeah.
Go for it.
There's a lot of people from different walks of life, from different promotions, all going in at that one promotion. Like, I see guys that I've never seen there before, like David Hetfield. I met him.
I believe Detective David Hetfield,
Detective
right?
David Hetfield. Yeah, like, it's how do I put this? It's just a mash of a bunch of young guys who just want to learn how to do what we love and perform.
Excellent. What do you think, Stevie?
I mean, as far as like the fan base itself and a different feel in that regard, I'm from the area. We're all nuts in the best kind of way. Everyone's just very passionate. Everyone's very happy to be here. We're just out to have a good time.
Excellent. So I do have to ask, because I know we were bugging you, Sexy Fireman, where's the calendar? I know we were talking about it a little bit beforehand.
Look, so me and Chest Flexor during, I was telling you this before we started, but I might as well tell it now. So me and Chest Flexor were talking about, hey, let's just go get some of the pictures done, not all the pictures. So we went up to Seven Springs with my fire gear and my helmet. We started taking pictures, and he was trying to convince me to take all my clothes off except my fire gear, and he was like, come on, you got to take this picture right next to them. I'm like, Flexor, there's like kids there, they don't want to see me shirtless. And he's like, no, go do it. And we got a picture on top of someone's Jeep. Of course their permission was asked. It was a friend, and it was really cold. Then there was a cabin or a like little apartment complex there, and he had access to one of them because of a family friend, and they didn't. He knew that we were doing it. They didn't know we were doing it till they saw the photos and were like, "Wait, why were you in my parents' cabin?" We're like, "Don't worry about it. I was just laying shirtless on the ground."
Don't worry about it. We cleaned up after ourselves.
Yeah. It was like, are we supposed to be doing this? Yeah, it's fine. Flexor. Yeah, it's fine.
Wow. So, I mean, we are leading into, it is November. I'm looking for my 2020 calendar. Am I going to get my sexy fireman calendar?
Well, here's the thing. Like, in the Four Horsemen, we all bring individual stuff of our own. I bring the sexiness. Well, here's the thing. I can spread my sexiness, not like a disease, but to the rest of the Four Horsemen.
Not a member of the STDs, right?
No. We might get a Four Horsemen 2020 sexy calendar.
Okay.
If I can convince...
Wait. We did not discuss this. This was not discussed. He's pulling a fast one on me.
We're discussing it now.
We're throwing it out on the internet for everybody so they can, so everybody can discuss it.
It's on the cloud now, I guess.
It's on the cloud.
Okay, I mean... Fine.
So and there was some shout outs for that in the chat room as well for a Hossman calendar as well. So
of course there. You see what you've done?
Yeah.
Do you see?
Excellent. Jason, I know you've been mixing up with a few different people too. I got to witness you having a great match in your hometown. You've been having a couple of these now with Sam Adonis and what's going on over there. Can you tell me a little bit about that and that experience?
Yeah, so I was approached about doing benefit shows for a fire department, and of course I'm always like, yeah, absolutely, no problem. Turns out it was a company that I run dual response with, so it's literally like 3 minutes from my house in our running area, and I was like, awesome, it's close, I'm helping my community out, not just firefighting, but entertaining them as well. So Sam and me have always been good friends. I think I told you about the Tennessee trip last time I was here, and so I had the opportunity to work with Tarantula against him and Jimmy Vegas.
Nice.
And that was a experience. It was so much fun. Probably the most fun I've ever had in a wrestling ring. And then, I got the roll up on him, which led to the next match in October against me and him. And we did another fundraiser for the same fire department at Hartford Heights. And successful. Everyone had fun. Fire Hall made good money, and everything was good. And then it turns out that the police wanted to do it too. So we just did a police fundraiser too. And I got to team with him this time against Balkan Denny Gregory.
Nice.
That was an experience too.
So that is a mix of people. A lot of the names you mentioned there. I mean, again, we talk about that kind of. Somebody mentioned a melting pot in one of the chat rooms. That's another chance of getting. A lot of those people also have been in Prospect Pro Wrestling. That you get to mix up with a lot of veterans there too.
Yeah.
So awesome. So tell me about what's going on here. Again, you guys are leading into the 1 year anniversary here. Kind of what's on the table here going into this show here Saturday night. Like, what are you guys involved with? What's happening in general in Prospect for you guys?
Well, the Survivor and myself are in a tag team title tournament, sort of a teaser of sorts, where it's 4 teams. It's obviously the 2 of us. My traffic up there. Yeah, that. Yeah, that.
In case you forget everybody in the match, here it is.
So I'm in there with STDs, which I'm pretty excited. Always a good time working with Chest. I'm getting hit in the nards. I know it. I'm bringing a cup. I'm gonna bring a cup.
That's a good
Cup's
idea.
a good idea. And then ATF, unfortunately, but hey, at least I get to hit Hooven in the face again. You
Okay.
know, I'm always a big fan of that, especially after, if anyone saw what he did to my dad. Always a good time beating up Dan Hooven and Santana Diamonds.
Well, I believe they threw your dad into a lake, didn't they?
Yeah, they threw him into a pond.
Yeah.
Big pond. And just threw him in there. He was weed eating. He had his hat on and everything. It's ridiculous. The nerve of these people. And then the Board of Education, which I've got sort of an axe to grind with them as well, because it's thanks to them that Phil and I don't know if you remember, but that Survivor Series type match we were in, BOE are directly responsible for the Survivor and I getting pinned. Yeah, they're responsible for our elimination.
I got to see them over the weekend. They seem to be turning the crazy up a little bit.
Oh, good. That's great. You know what? We'll see if we can knock that out of them.
Mm-hmm.
And Professor has noted, I don't know if you saw the promo, but Professor has noted that the Survivor and myself kicked very hard in the head.
Mm-hmm. What about you, Jason?
So this Saturday, I have a qualifying match for the 2PW World Heavyweight Championship against Bronco McBride. In the promo, I said, and we were talking about this earlier, that Bronco McBride cannot handle my sexy kendo stick. Of course, I think you guys get what I'm talking about. But no, it's going to be fun. Obviously, it's going to be hard because of a tournament style. But this is just the first time.
Mm-hmm.
And then I believe next month is going to be the rest of the matches.
Okay.
Culminating in the championship being crowned at the end of the December show. So before I start looking forward to that, I got to look forward to Bronco. And I've never wrestled him before, never been in the ring with him before, but I know his style, and I might be able to shake my ass and stuff like that, but when push comes to shove, I'll get crazy too. And speaking of crazy, Jamie Jameson, the other Four Horsemen member, has a qualifying match as well against Rev Ron Hunt. And that's going to be fun to watch. Obviously, we all hope. I hope Jamie advances. I hope to advance. And maybe if it comes down to the two of us, the best man can. But I just want to see all of us be successful on Saturday.
And that's the Rev. I think that's the first time ever meeting between the two of them.
Yeah,
that is correct.
And the Rev coming off of an appearance on Ring of Honor in I think out of Columbus this past Sunday too, which was a very interesting match. If you guys were looking into that, I mean, that's the one with the referee and the cameraman and the ring announcer getting involved. Was teaming with Cole Cabana of all people, of course. So that's of course happening this weekend. So you guys can check that out. And I love this has been happening a bit more and more, and I love you guys are on this too. There is a Four Horsemen social media account.
There is.
So like this isn't just like a faction that's happening in this promotion over here. Like this is a thing that's happening in general.
Yeah. So unbeknownst to the rest of the Four Horsemen member, even though I sent them the email and the password to all the accounts,
I'm subscribed to the YouTube now. Leave me be.
We have YouTube, we have Twitter, we have Facebook. We're going to work on an Instagram.
They'll have all the sexy pictures of all the Horsemen, right?
Yeah, just trying to cover all the bases. We're going to try to grow. I mean, I don't think we're going to be stuck to just one company. We want to try to expand and broaden our horizons in different companies. So right now we're just worried on gelling good, which I don't think we're going to have a problem doing that. But baby steps. Baby steps.
Awesome. Some good stuff happening there. So tell me the standard question. You guys are a bit further in than when last time we talked. What's the best and the worst thing about indie wrestling for you guys so far?
Best thing is getting to make friends, much like I've made in the Horsemen. And the worst thing is my father getting beaten up and thrown into ponds and whatnot. That's a bit irritating, honestly.
Well, unfortunately, I've seen a mother getting pile driven before in recent years. So, I mean,
what is it? What is it with you people and parents?
I don't
Just
know.
leave them be. They're not involved in this. They're not a part of it.
This has been happening. Yeah. So
at least the ceiling isn't high enough at Leechburg to have a Papa Judo on a forklift match. Okay.
That's barely height of the greatest thing was the slow ceiling there, and the first match is Super Hentai and Johnny Patch in an aerial assault match. They can't even stand on the Super Hentai is not very tall and couldn't stand on the top rope. And wow. So at least they gave a second rope stipulation to that. Jason Tyler, the sexy fireman. What's the best and worst thing about indie wrestling for you?
The best thing, like Judo said, is the brotherhood aspect of it. Just similar to firefighting, all of us are just like-minded people who love the same thing, and we just bond. You make lifelong friends out of this, and it's just people coming together to share their love for wrestling and do it and all that stuff. And then
yeah, doing it, huh?
all that
That's
stuff,
sexy,
yeah,
huh?
yeah. But the worst.
You started thinking about the casting couch again, aren't you?
The casting couch, yes. Michelle James, if you were listening, I need a valet for my match.
Hey, we can figure something out, maybe.
Sexy fireman shooting his shot. I love it.
I just worked with her 2 weekends ago. Not in. On a talk show with Jim Crenn. I just qualify that.
Wow. Yeah.
So we'll see what we can do with that. Of course, this weekend, Prospect Pro Wrestling is in Leechburg at the Elks Club there. I'm remembering off the top of my head. That's November 9th, 7 p.m. bell time, Leechburg, PA. If you don't know where that is, that's kind of in between 28 and 376 out east there. And I love seeing that. There's more wrestling happening in more of the areas around Pittsburgh. You guys, we're doing some great stuff there. And, of course, the Worthington show for the anniversary coming up in December, right?
Yeah.
So we talked about the four Hossman social medias. Where can we find you guys individually?
Let me...
he's got to pull out his phone.
Yeah, I got to actually...
I'm ready.
Sexy fireman, go.
You know. So on Twitter, it is Jason Tyler 5AF. On Instagram, I believe it is the same Jason Tyler 5AF. Yes, it is. And on Facebook, it's 5AF Jason Tyler. A little switcheroo there for you.
Keep you on your toes. Yeah. What about you?
So on the Twitter machine, it is at Ronan_LaBelle. On the Instagrams, it is at Stevie_LaBelle. And on the Book of Faces, it is Stevie the Ronan LaBelle.
There you go. Hey, guys, thanks for coming in. I'm looking dapper with this. You guys are going to be in the running for Best Dressed Guest now, although we do have the main event on next episode, so we'll see.
You can't compete with that.
I love Duke Davis.
We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
So I don't know if Liddy's coming along as well this time. But
I can outdress Liddy. I ain't worried.
You can outdress Liddy?
Yeah.
Oh, there's a challenge right there. Laying it out
Liddy.
there.
You don't stand a damn chance. It's a sexy fireman, okay?
Liddy and Jason Tyler are going to have a sexy off. And,
bring it, kitty cat.
Bring it, kitty cat. Oh, boy. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, everybody in the chat room here live on multiple platforms. Of course, please, you can see these guys in action, of course, on IndieWrestling.network. Prospect Pro Wrestling is being carried exclusively over there, and there's plenty of clips over on the IndieWrestling.us YouTube and on the Prospect Pro Wrestling social media. It's a great new promotion that is, it just came solid out of the gate, and to everybody involved in putting that promotion together, really good to see what's happening out there and seeing guys like you get an opportunity to do some really cool stuff. So check it out. Thank you, everybody. Support Prospect Pro Wrestling, and please support Indie Wrestling.
Fight for a yard, for a foot, for an inch, yeah, fight for you all is the truth, and I'm in, yeah, fight for every breath that I take, and I fight for every step that I make. When you add up the inches, life or death, winning or losing is the difference. You are the witness, inches around us, every second decisions. Too slow and I missed it, fast and I skipped it, but I'm on time so I gripped it. If you were ready to die, then you will get this. If you're afraid of your life, then you forget this. I don't know what to say, but you got 1 minute to decide to walk or to stay. Slim is the margin of error, and you won't be able to look yourself in the mirror. Fight for that edge, no matter how far I come, I know I still got a step to take. Pull that set, yeah, I do what I have to get where I got to. Eat that set, I've been called worse by better, so what can you do to me? Fight for that edge, this is more than
Ladies and gentlemen, we're gathered here today to mourn the passing of a app that was taken before its time.
But sadly, Google has delisted our friend Yik Yak.
Yik Yak provided us with many memorable moments, wisdom,
Wrap your willies.
relatable moments.
What if the universe is a computer simulation being run by a fourth-dimensional nerd in his parents' basement?
Made us feel more alive.
Getting Wizzity wasted on Strawberritas starting now.
Made us feel more human.
Booty Colin. Without Yik Yak, where will students go to find their next hookup?
I need a girl to cuddle with, watch Netflix, and sacrifice to Satan during the next full moon.
Without Yik Yak, where will students go to talk about their bays?
Can circle jerking make you pregnant?
I will miss checking it in the morning, and checking it in the evening, and checking it during lunch.
BRB, dying of dysentery.
But mostly I'll miss it in the bathroom.
Shower farts. Am I right?
My little banyo buddy. And I, Yik Yak.
If you don't pee in the shower, whoever are you? I say that we gather here not to mourn the passing of Yik Yak, but to celebrate some of the just greatest yaks of all time. No, I don't self-harm. My cat just effing hates me.
I always feel like I've won when I meet someone off Craigslist to get furniture, and I don't get killed.
Post-masturbation nap.
Woman in the stall next to me sat down to take a shit, farted, then said, "Thank goodness it's Friday." Nice.
I got the pizza sweats.
Time to poop.
Technically, we're all half centaur.
If you don't pee in the shower, whoever are you?
Bro dudes are the worst.
My boobs hurt.
Hi guys, I'm Liz Victory, and this song is called Kodachrome Heart. Distractions from the pain. Is this really how we have left to gain? You make your money, build up your fantasy land. You think you own it, like you can hold it in your own hands. Well, you cannot monotone drone on your stereo. Open up your tone. My heart got a roam. Yeah, yeah. Protest the infestation of ignorance in our populace, and we'll survive on hope and the pieces of broken dreams. I don't know where I'm going, but you're welcome to come along with me. Monotone drone on your stereo. Open up your tone. My heart caught a groan. Woke up tired again today, but the TV told me it can cure me anyway. And they give me prescriptions, and they give me pills and creams and all these things to make me a better human being. And I just wonder, where have you been? Where have you been? Thanks, guys.
That microphone.
Give me a talking to that
microphone talk.
Welcome to the Microphone Talk podcast, where we talk into microphones.
We love to talk to microphones.
Yes.
And when the microphones start to talk back,
then we got trouble. Hey, that is not that's not actually, because we've had incidents where the radio gets picked up over the recorder. So we're like picking up a radio station like faintly in the background, but it's enough that you notice.
Okay.
In construction, we haven't done that. It hasn't been here. It's been like on a location when I was on the North Shore, and it gets pretty crazy. Hey, actually, there's a live stream that we set up for a church in West Virginia.
Okay.
And I was listening to listening to the live stream Sunday morning.
Yeah.
And this is how I go to church now. And well, that's the purpose of it, right? And it sounds like there was a radio station coming over their audio equipment that sounded like it was also a sermon. So it was like this competing sermons thing happening in the background.
Instead of dueling banjos, we had dueling preachers.
It was mostly fun. And they use a wireless lav and everything. So there's more chance of that happening, So,
well, hopefully it's all the same message, just delivered it differently.
Oh, absolutely. I think most of them are, right?
Yeah, well, for sure.
I would hope.
Well, a whole lot of things has been repackaged, Mike.
That is true.
Many.
That is true. All right, we are recording and live, and if you're ready for a countdown, good sir, for the microphone.
How do you know we're alive?
No, well, because Facebook tells me so.
Because Facebook
that's
tells
dangerous.
Me so.
That's dangerous.
I do not. When we begin to take our guidance from Facebook, we might want to speak to someone wiser than us.
That's dangerous. And shared and doing things. Okay.
Okay. Wow.
Here we go.
Have a little sing-along before the podcast.
Hey. Yeah, you haven't been singing a lot of the Banana Splits since we saw that scary trailer.
Oh, my gosh. Wow.
Well, you and I need to go see that movie.
The Dark Side.
Yes.
The Dark Side of the Banana Splits.
Yeah. We just need to have an outing and be like, well, that's not what we expected.
Oh, boy.
All right. In 3, 2, 1.
Welcome to Fishing Without Bait, a lifetime without definitive expectations, where we explore life through our concept of full impact mindfulness. We're looking for individuals who are looking to create themselves rather than find themselves, to look at life and reality from another perspective, and view life as an epic adventure. There's no admittance fee required, only the honesty, open-mindedness, and the willingness to try. Join our conversation and get acquainted with an eclectic roster of guests. Expect the unexpected and get an assist into exploding into your life with full impact mindfulness. Good day, everyone. My name is Jim Ellermeyer. I'm a behavioral health therapist, and today, as always, I'm joined by my good friend, co-host, and producer of this program, Mr. Mike. Mr. Mike, give us a shout-out.
Hello out there on this recording on a wonderful Monday morning in this fine neighborhood, smelling the mid-morning tacos starting to cook across the street.
As the pleasant odor wafts across the street to
yes.
us. Okay, Mike, we live in a different type of society. What happens usually in our society when you break something or when something's broken?
Are we talking about you break it, you buy it?
Well, we're talking about anything in your home. You drop a bowl, you drop a plate, the VCR doesn't work, whatever.
Oh, we're so prone to just throw those objects into the trash.
We throw things away, correct? So when do you think our culture became what we would call as a disposable society?
I think when we were separating ourselves from making those things here, and everything gets imported and is made so cheaply and easy, I think that's a big thing. So the 50s?
So what you're telling me is when we don't have an actual investment in something, I'm not talking about money. I'm talking about time. I'm talking about effort.
I mean, think about back in the day, think 100 years ago, like how many people were making their clothes, were making their food, everybody was making their food. There was no fast food, right? I mean, that was a product of, I think that was a product of maybe the 40s or 50s.
So it's no problem. We'll just get rid of it and we'll get another one. Oh, don't worry about that. I'll buy another one. I'll get another one. And pretty soon our house is filled up with lots of stuff. However, the Japanese have an interesting concept, and that's called kintsugi, Kintsugi, or sometimes known as the art of precious scars. Okay? So, however, there is an alternative. Every particular thing that you own has its own story, does it not? Each experience has its own story. So, actually, this started in China, and what happened was there was a shogun, the 10th shogun, I believe, that had a favorite cup, and it broke, however it got broken, and he sent it to China to be fixed, because the Chinese have a concept where they do something beautiful, filling cracks with resin and powdered gold. Okay? So when they repair things, what they actually do is they make them more valuable. And actually what it does is incorporates resilience, and it takes away from negative experiences, okay, and turns them into something positive. Have you ever seen one of these beautiful plates or bowls or even tables that have all these gold designs in them?
I have, and they seem a little too frilly to be eating my meatballs on.
Well, actually, what they are is that comes from that Japanese concept, okay? So what we talk about often, and I hope that some of my Twitter friends out there are listening to this podcast, as I deal with a lot of people on the Twitter, and for those who are not familiar with it, it is at Without Bait on Twitter, and I often interact with many members of the recovery community, Mike. So many members of that type of community consider themselves broken. So what happens usually when someone has some issues with drugs, alcohol, whatever that dependency is, they usually go to a place called the
recovery institute.
Recovery place. They go to an inpatient, outpatient rehabilitation center. So what we do, what other people do, is attempt to piece those pieces, the pieces of a life, back together. Do they not?
Yeah, you're
those parts and put them back together in a way that was stronger than it was before. Okay. So when we learn from previous experiences, so when we put things back together, we want to make them stronger, so we don't want to use this word, relapse back into what we were doing before that didn't work. that broke us. Okay, so how do we do that? And we talk about holistic wellness quite often, do we not? So when we talk about this mind, body, spirit thing, and when we talk about the mind, and we talk about how have you ever seen anybody with what would be called a fractured mind, Mike? Someone who's maybe despondent with anxiety or grief or depression or trauma.
They're more wrapped into their head than what's going on around them.
That's correct, and they feel that they're trapped inside of these feelings, these emotions, and these thoughts, and that they're broken. And how am I ever going to get well? How am I ever going to move forward?
It's a deep dark hole, and it's so despondent and hopeless.
So what we'd like to do is help people to repair that mind and to repair a life. And to repair a mind means repairing thoughts, Mike. So our minds tend to drift toward negative outcomes. Before our conversation this morning, we were both talking about some disappointing things in our life, were we not?
Yeah, a little bit.
And we could have held those thoughts together with some fairly strong glue.
Yeah.
Because those thoughts become enmeshed. Those thoughts are super glued together.
And a lot of them kind of drive further decision making.
So what we try to help people do is not just to say, I put out something on Twitter a few days ago that said, platitudes are wonderful, action and effort works.
Mm-hmm.
Platitudes are wonderful. Mike, how often, and we use slogans and quotes as much as anybody does. However, they may be beautiful. However, they're words. However, we try to help people put some action and effort behind those words, do we not?
Absolutely. I mean, so many times, whether in business trying to get a new project going, or in the day-to-day, or hey, I want to be healthy. You say, hey, I'm going to do this thing. Hey, we're working on this, and this is going to turn into this, this, and this. And it's like, okay, where have I seen step one towards that direction? Right.
So sometimes I'll say to people, a well-tended flower blooms. Well, that sounds like a sage, wonderful, wise thought from up above, doesn't it?
No, it's science.
So, however, okay, well, a well-tended flower blooms. Okay, well, how does one tend a flower then? Mm-hmm. Okay, so if we consider our mind that flower, what we would like to do is, first of all, identify what is hurting us and eliminate it. Okay, so that's negative people, negative situations, negative events, negative places. All right, we want to avoid those things. But somehow, as we're kind of strange human beings, because we'll walk past 10 or 12 excellent, fine, firm, stable relationships, and we'll pursue that one who maybe is indifferent to us, or like us, or maybe it's offered some criticism of us, and we'll try to pursue that one to make that whole. Actually, before you and I talked, we both talked about a couple disconcerting experiences that we've had, and we focused on those for a bit, didn't we?
We did, and it kind of gave me a low start to the day a little bit, but I was doing so good.
Yes, so if we actually turn our mind toward what we're grateful for and the people, places, situations, and things that enhance our lives. So part of this putting your life back together, Mike, is quite often someone will come up to me or you and say, I don't know what to do. And we don't either, all right? We don't have the answers for them. However, I'll guarantee you that if you came to me and says, Jim, I don't know what to do about this situation, and I said, well, Mike, do you know what not to do? I'll almost guarantee that you'll know what not to do.
Don't message that person that pissed you off. Don't don't do a thing again. Do the thing that puts you in that situation. Just thinking about the things that we're talking about. There's something that puts you in that position, or something like that, or something that will make that position worse. Correct.
If we don't know what not to do, we don't want to put ourselves in a position to be hurt again, and that might takes a conscious choice. So what we try to do is help people make those choices.
And you say not putting yourselves in a position to get hurt. Sometimes that can be a burden as well, but we're talking about doing it in a healthy way.
In a very healthy way. Okay. So when we're talking about this art of Kitsugi, we all have scars, okay? And sometimes we deal with people who have emotional scars, and sometimes we deal with people who have also scars on the outside also, okay? So our minds, when we want to cleanse and we want to detox our minds, that certainly is part of the equation. However, since our mind and our bodies are so connected, what we could do and what we would like to do maybe is also not only to detox those negative thoughts out of our mind, but detox those negatives out of our body too. All the poisons that we consume, all the things that we incorporate into our body, and they taste so good, do they not?
Absolutely, man. That Mountain Dew.
All those things are so good. However, they're not helping us all. They're not repairing the cracks.
No.
Often, sometimes people will what we call resort to comfort eating. And if you were comfort eating, Mike, would that be celery and carrots?
No, not usually. It's usually the fried food, the pizza, the burgers.
Right, the greasy, salty things. Okay, that taste good initially on your palate, but perhaps don't really feed the furnace very well. Okay?
No.
So that's not exactly the type of glue that we want to put a body back together with. Okay, so putting all these things that you've gone through, your experiences are the only thing that can tell you what not to do. What not to do. So, and again, then we talk about this spirituality aspect. We talk about the sun, how a plant grows. The spirituality aspect involves a connection with something. Mike, I deal with many people, and one of the thoughts that I bring out to them, during our conversations is, how alone are you? How alone are you? Mike, do you have an idea of how many people tell me so lonely?
It kind of goes back to just an episode or two ago. We were talking about being alone in a crowd, right?
Yes. So many people are alone. So a lot of people we can't count on. Okay, I put out a tweet on the @WithoutBait Twitter site, and again I asked people to take a good look at their lives and say, if everything else were taken away from you, your health, your money, your home, your fancy car, whatever, who would be with you at the end? Who would never leave you? I ask them again, I say, who in your life do you trust so much that if they said fall, I'd fall you? Someone in your life that you trust so much that if they said fall, I will catch you, that you would fall without hesitation because you were absolutely certain that they would. Those are your true friends. Those are the people that you want to connect your with. Why do we continue to pursue individuals that we think are going to enhance our lives? Maybe like there's a lot of celebrity worship out there. People want to get next to somebody that's famous.
Right.
You run into maybe a famous sports star or a famous actor or a famous blogger, a famous YouTube person. You really don't know what that person's like, do you?
No, and you think that you've rubbed off a little bit of the fame or the excitement by being close to them, or at least you get a good story.
So how many times have you seen people that are name droppers?
I mean, I am on some podcasts a little bit, actually.
Well, sure. We all like to have that fame by association, right? So when you're with a famous person, what is something that you always want to get?
That selfie. And I think, is it Steve Martin that does this? Do you know Steve Martin's story?
No.
Apparently, whenever you run into Steve Martin in public, he hands you a card, something to the effect, and you can look this up, the exact wording, something to the effect of, "Hi, you've met Steve Martin. You're welcome," or something like that. You know, this moment was brought to you by Steve Martin. It was something crazy that he does.
However, I also see a lot of these posts and different things where here's a picture of me with the Dalai Lama. Here's a picture of me with the President of the United States. Here's a picture of me with a sports star. All these different types of things like that, okay? So is that making you well? How is that feeding your ego in a healthy way, Mike?
No, because it's not actually building on anything. It's just a house of cards that's going to get blown over, right?
Or would you rather be with somebody who actually cares about you? Here's the way to really repair yourself. And what we're talking about is repairing those broken pieces with lacquered gold. So not only are they bonded more tightly, they're even more beautiful. Here's the way to tell a friend, Mike, is if they truly share in your joy, and here's a way to truly tell a friend whether they truly share in your sorrow and share in your joy.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm sure you have a lot of friends, as do I. So let's say you came to one of your friends and said, "Hey, I took a chance and I bought a $10 lottery ticket and I won $1,000." How many of them would say to you, "Oh, Mike, that's great. I'm happy for you"? How many of them? What are generally they thinking in their mind?
Oh man, why didn't I get that?
Why isn't me? I never win anything. Why him? He has all the luck. Are they truly happy for you, Mike?
No.
Or are they jealous?
Yeah, a little bit.
Do you have anybody in your life, Mike, that truly shares in your joy and truly shares in your sorrow?
Well, hopefully my wife.
I do know her, and I have every reason to believe that she does. So there's many casual acquaintances in our lives, and we certainly need them to pass through the day and pass time and have general pleasant conversation and connect with humanity. Okay? But when we want to repair those scars, would you go to an acquaintance or would you go to someone who truly cared about you, who truly can share in your joy and truly can share in your sorrow?
Yeah, absolutely. That's somebody who can share.
So again, we get back to the importance of labeling and identifying thoughts and feelings. Okay? When we identify and label those thoughts and feelings, the negative thoughts and the positive thoughts, the negative thoughts don't glue us together. Okay? Remember when we talked about magic math quite often, addition by subtraction? So when we subtract some of these negative events, negative people, negative feelings, negative thoughts out of our life, they can only solidify and make it stronger as we want to. Then there'll be more room for the positives. And to have those positives, if we were going to mix sand with water, that might hold something together for a very, very brief period of time until the water dried. So when we repair our lives, we want to make something that's bonding and lasting. And a lot of these times they involve relationships with people that you love. And keeping in mind that looking back at your experiences, in the 12-step world we say we do not regret the past and we do not wish to shut the door on it. We will see how our experience can benefit both us and others. So the whole idea is to use our experience, and unless you've had experience, how do you know what not to do, Mike?
You got to start somewhere.
There is a beautiful YouTube video, and I know we can't show that but if you ever want to look it up, his name's Sean Burnahanahan. Okay, and we will maybe put a link to that at the end of this podcast if you'd care to show it. But he talks about how scars make you beautiful, and it introduced me to the Japanese concept of kintsugi. All right, and quite often I use that with my patients also to help them understand that they can repair their broken lives, their whatever they consider broken, and we put the glue together to put that back together to make it even more strong and more beautiful. Okay, so can I bring the photo up?
Yeah.
Oh. This is a picture, Mike, that a beautiful soul painted, and I was fortunate enough to take it. And what it says, just because we are broken doesn't mean we aren't still beautiful. Okay, so this picture is going to be on the website, and I'd like you to take a look at this. And when you see someone on the street, maybe you see someone that's not doing well, they may be broken at the moment, but that doesn't mean they can't get repaired. How many, just like our disposable society, how many people do we give up on, Mike?
So many, because we just feel like it's too much effort.
Too much effort. So we want to get something new, don't we? Well, that friend's broken. I'll get another one.
Yeah, that disposability, like we were talking about before.
Right. So, actually, when we live in this disposable society, then the world is getting filled up with what?
Just piles of trash.
Piles of trash and piles of junk. We're not going to get into the environmental concerns today. However, the oceans are filling up with plastic.
Mhm.
The world is filling up with plastic. And these disposable items, all of these type of things, they have to go somewhere, do they not? Many people don't think of that, do they?
Nope.
Where does my garbage go? Well, it goes in the garbage can, and somebody comes and takes it away.
It goes away, out of sight, out of mind.
So, many years ago, there was a Christmas story that's showed on the Christmas Story, and it's about one is called the Isle of Misfit Toys, where all the broken toys get put because they feel they're broken and they feel that they're not usable, so they put them away. So how many people get put away in this society? How many people get marginalized because of that?
Absolutely, it does. I mean, some of those people seem to be getting put away in facilities and neighborhoods or whatever the case may be.
So if we give people the opportunity, Mike, if we show them the holistic wellness method, the mind, body, spirit, actually how to get re-involved and reacquainted with themselves, to find out what a real friend is and to cultivate those friendships. We help people understand what proper nutrition and taking care of their body and being able to love themselves involves. This is the reason we developed full impact mindfulness, to explode into people's lives, to understand where people get into dark places. So maybe we can show a picture of my tattoo. There's, if you want to go to the Twitter site, there's also, can you tell about what we did with Jake Steele, Mike?
Oh, with the tattoos?
Yes.
Oh, it was a great video that we have on the Facebook and the Twitter page and the YouTube for Fishing Without Bait. Please subscribe to them all. And we did a little bit of video talking with him about the first, I believe, the butterfly, the full impact mindfulness tattoo. The first of many that you've obtained over the last couple of years, over 4 years, as we're well over 200 episodes here on this show. And it was a fun little piece, and talk about that and the meaning and kind of see the process with him.
So these are challenge podcasts. These aren't podcasts where we sit back and although I have a Bob Ross shirt on today, Bob Ross is certainly a wonderful fellow. We're more into, okay, if you want to do something with your life, then let's do it. If you'd like to contact this show, I've reached out to many people. We're always interested in recovery stories. Any of my Twitter friends out there that have heard this, we'd love for you to contact us. You can share with us whatever you feel comfortable with. But we're hearing about stories about resiliency. We'd like to hear how you repaired your life in a stronger way to put those pieces back together and make them strong and beautiful.
And if you're questioning whether your story is fine enough to share, always remember, you never know what kind of story or statement is going to resound, or ring true with somebody else and help them along in their path to helping themselves.
Mike, there's many people out there, and in the 12-step world, we often say that many people suffer from what we would call terminal uniqueness. Okay? Terminal uniqueness. And no matter how insignificant you think your story is, or that others have had it worse, there's someone who's going to resonate with your story. There's someone who's going to say, they're telling my story. So our challenge is that everyone out there has a responsibility to carry that message to other people. Everyone out there has a strong message to carry to others. And there's few things better in this world than seeing the light and come on in someone's eyes. That's the ultimate reward. My friends, there's no prize for being the richest person in the cemetery. Okay, there's no prize. It's your integrity and your honor that's going to carry you beyond into the next world. When you think of people, you generally think of the past people as to whether they were a good or bad person, right? So sometimes when they think of these robber barons of the past or whatever, they think of how rich they were. But then what's the next sentence that they think of? How did they get that money? How did they get all these material goods? Okay.
Was it blood money?
You can't take them with you to the next world. So hopefully we have some folks that would like to contact us. And as always, at the end of every podcast, we offer a free prescription, fruits, nuts, and vegetables. Unplug your television and take up fishing. And for a truly mindful experience, we suggest that you fish without bait. And as always, do a kindness for yourself, do a kindness for another. Forgive yourself and forgive another. Till all are free, none are free. Namaste.
Thank you. Any streamers that may have popped up there? I saw our friend Natalie liked the video when we went up. So thank you so much, and we'll catch you guys later.
I don't wanna wake up and face the world outside. We could stay here forever by each other's side. What else could be better than right here and now? Turn off the alarm clock. We don't need it anyhow. I don't wanna wake up and see you disappear.
You missed.
I missed the record.
Oh.
I forgot the video. I'm sorry.
That's okay. I need to.
That's me. All right. Let's give it one more shot.
Now we're
Sorry
good?
about that.
Okay.
All right. Right there whenever you're ready.
Okay. Hi, I'm Nick Iben, and this is my song Fragile. Fragile beauty, restless creature, let me be your only teacher. Was the pleasure worth the pain, or did it all end up the same? And I'll remember you. There's a sinner by your side, but there's an angel deep inside. I found inspiration in your eyes, and as I leave you, there'll be no goodbyes, and I'll remember you. You stole my secrets with your style, and found my weakness with your smile. I should have never let you in. I should have stopped before I began, and I'll remember you, and I'll remember you, and I'll remember you. That good?
So some of the things that we do want to get rid of, however, they're like this ball,
Mhm.
okay? And we try to throw it away, throw it away, throw it away, throw it away, throw it away. What's it keep? Has it gone?
Nope, it's
How
still
come?
there. It's still there attached to you.
It's attached to me, okay? So that's one of the things about these balls like this. They're attached to you. I want to get rid of this. I want to get rid of this, but I can't because I'm attached to it. I'm still holding on to it. And that can be a blind spot. Well, some people talk the talk, others walk the walk. So if you're right here and it's right now, you walk the walk. You live full impact mindfulness. And to live full impact mindfulness, you wear it proudly. You wear your colors. Fly the flag. I'm flying the flag of full impact mindfulness.
This was a challenge. It certainly was, but I knew that going into it, and I knew that it was gym, and I love gym, and I knew this was going to be fun, and I had to do it.
The tattoo that I'm having done right now is the Full Impact Mindfulness logo. It's about, I'm really not the type of person that is sitting on the satin pillows, surrounded by 10,000 candles with my eyes closed going all day. That's wonderful. That's a good thing. That can center yourself. I'm much more interested in pushing the envelope, stepping outside the comfort zone, and helping people fully participate in their lives. And every day to say, no, I had no regrets today. We often talk about buying the ticket. We often talk about people who live their life on wishes and hopes, waiting for something to happen, hoping that something will happen, wishing that something will happen, or sitting back and maybe perhaps feeling entitled and saying, I know it's coming. All I have to do is be patient and wait. Well, you can be patient and wait. Buy the ticket. You can't get on the ride unless you buy the ticket. And that's not necessarily a monetary cost. It's an investment of yourself.
What do you think your arms and body would have looked like if you discovered tattoos earlier in life?
I don't think I was prepared early in life to have enough confidence in myself. I compared myself to others and took others' perceptions of me as my own self-worth. That's what I did. But now I don't. And some people say, hey man, that's really cool. Other people look at me and just shake their head. And that's okay.
So there it is. So Jim, how you feeling?
I'm feeling like I'm spreading my wings and I could fly.
Come dance with me till the night is through. Come on, let me show you what I can do. Come dance with me, baby, till the night is through. Come on, let me show you what I can do. 1, 2, 3, 4. I see you walk into the room, a drink in your hand, the smell of sweet perfume. And as you walk by, I wanna stare
was a good one too. There's a lot happening. I have to get re-excited about my sticker. That's not hard.
I didn't get a sticker.
All right, try it again. It's time to get geeky, get awesome. It is the Awesome Cast 469 intro take 2. We hit record this time. I'm Mike Sorgatron on the Twitter at Sorgatron Media Studios in the Beachview neighborhood of Pittsburgh, PA, where it was Election Day 2019, and I got a sticker. That is my awesome thing of the week. I'm just going to jump right into it because they have not had stickers in like the 15 years that I've been here in this neighborhood. So I'm very excited for my voted sticker. Sorry, audio listeners. But anyways... we have the crew in with us. Back in the studio is the gadget guru over at Big Bank International. It is John Chichilla.
I did not get a sticker today, but I bet you if I dig through enough of boxes at home, I bet you I still have some Get Glue
stickers. What's up with that?
I still miss Get Glue.
Get Glue. It was an app, and you checked in on shows that you watched, before we did it on Facebook, and they would send you stickers eventually of shows that you checked in.
Yeah, I think
on.
it was like, what would it have been, like 25 shows or something like that? But they had different. You could also get like different stickers for the same
for
show.
special events and things like that too, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's awesome.
I had an Attack of the Show sticker.
Attack of the Show sticker, nice. Also, Brian Crawford with us with pghmuseums.org.
Yeah, and I didn't get a sticker either, and I was really, really upset about it. But you can brighten my day and raise my spirits by voting for pghmuseums.org by going to our website.
There you go.
And clicking buy a ticket to our launch party. Vote for pghmuseums.org, and that'll cheer me up for my lack of
Fantastic.
sticker.
Are there stickers at the party?
There won't be now.
Oh,
no stickers.
No stickers, but you'll get two drinks.
Oh, he's got a
included
lot
with your
going
ticket.
on. You're gonna get
you'll get a free fossil to take home. That's better than a sticker.
Can I trade in my fossil for a sticker?
Yeah.
Well, on the
Can you trade on the black-
Pittsburgh night market.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But you got to be the first 60 people to buy a ticket. So if you're not there,
There you go. Joining us, we'll talk more about PGH Museums, of course, and there's a lot of techie to get into here. But of course, this is the Awesome Cast. Please check out everything at awesomecast.com, where you can check out this and past episodes. Our awesome chats are up there as well. A lot of great conversations we've had over the years since 2010 when we got the ball rolling with this show. Ooh, coming up on our 10th anniversary. We need to do something about that next year.
That's wild.
But go check that out. Subscribe to the show on your podcast formats. And of course, video versions on Facebook and YouTube. You can hit us up, email at awesomecast@sorgatronmedia.com. Tweet us at awesomecast. Like I said, follow us on the Facebook page. And we have a wonderful Awesomecast Facebook group. A lot of great conversation. We have a few stories in the rundown that you guys in the group actually had submitted. So we'll have those online as well. Also, of course, please ask we're in the future now, ask your voice thing to play the Awesome Cast, your Google Home, your Amazon Echo, your Apple HomePod, all connected to the podcast universe. And of course, we're here every Tuesday on Facebook Live at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Several other formats as well that we do go out to. But of course, the Facebook Live is where we are paying attention to the conversation in the chat room, and we can say hi to you guys out there, like Brandon out in the Kansas City, like Dave Ponder, Tiny Shutter Podcast. I see a bunch of people jumping in here tonight. So what's up, everybody? What's up, you Jagoff? I see you out there in the chat room too. The great You Jagoff Podcast. And also, wait, where are we at in the rundown? Hello, if you're catching us later or one of the other outlets, please, if you have some comments, you want to tell us how we're wrong about Star Trek, well, you have to get on the Patreon for that. Just want to tell us any of that stuff, tweet us at AwesomeCast with the hashtag AC469. And also thank you to our audio partners, our friends at the 405media.com that are carrying us 5 days a week over there, and our friends at Post Industrial Audio. They're helping us out, and you guys heard an ad before the show. If you're on any of the feeds afterwards, thank you to them for helping us out with that and help expand the Awesome Cast universe. Thank you to our Patreon supporters over at patreon.com/awesomecast so we can get Chilla some cough medicine. At the Coffee Club $5 level, you guys are going to get a very heated Star Trek Discovery, Star Trek versus Star Wars conversation that Brian Chilla and myself had that will be exclusive to you guys. We didn't stream it or anything. It's captured, and that's going to be up there. You guys are going to get that here later this week. But thank you, everybody, at the $5 Coffee Club level. Our friends Matt Muller, John Diggy DeGore, and John Carmen. And at the Fan of the Show dollar level, the longest-running Patreon supporter, Dutter's favorite Fedor, Michael Fedor, and, of course, new. We need a bell or something. Brian with pghmuseums.org is now a part of the you put your money where your mouth is with the show, right? you voted.
I voted.
You
yes.
voted for the awesome cast.
I did. I voted for it. I'm here. Right.
He's here. He put in for it, and I really
got some
appreciate
gadgets
that.
with me.
Got some gadgets with him, and we'll get into those here. So it is time for the awesome thing of the week. Let's. Oh, wait. We got it. We got an incoming going on here. Oh no, I do have a button.
That was easy.
Ha ha! We do have a big red button. Welcome to the show.
That was easy.
All right, Brian Crawford, as a new Patreon supporter, you go first in the awesome thing of the week, and I know you have props over there.
You want me to go with the gadget then?
Yes. Go with the gadget. Let's go with the gadget.
Okay, so I got this really great wireless microphone set. And I was looking for something that I could use on the road to do interviews and things like that. And I wanted something that I didn't have to be tied down to a plug because with the new project, pghmuseums.org, everything we do is on location for the most part. So I needed something. So I got this device. It's a wireless headset. Here's the box here. It's called Hotech is the name of the brand. And what's great about it is there's one receiver for 2 microphones. This receiver just plugs right into a 1/4-inch slot, and I just plug it right into my Zoom recorder. So again, I'm completely mobile. The Zoom recorder is battery run. These are all wireless battery run, like rechargeable battery run, so which is nice. And it comes with 2 little receivers. They're nice and small, very sleek looking as well. They clip right onto your belt, and you plug in a microphone right at the top, and they give you 2 options for each one of the receivers as to what type of microphone you're going to use. One of them is a simple lapel mic. And what's nice is when you plug it in, you can actually twist it on to make sure that it's secure and it's not going to pop out if someone moves their arm or something like that. The other option is one that goes over the head, and you can use that, say, like if you're like, I don't know, like I was interviewing Jaime Guerrero from the Pittsburgh Glass Center, and I was behind the camera, so I'm using my hands for camera work, so I was able to just put that right around my head, and it made it a lot easier, whereas he wore the lapel mic because he was on camera. So it's really, really nice. It works really well. It sounds pretty decent. If you've listened to any of the 2 videos that we put out, whether it be the Ton Pottery video at PGH Museums on our Facebook page, or whether it be the one from Jaime, you'll notice that the audio is not too bad, and it came from these microphones. So I'm really happy with it. $80 I think is what this cost me, and for 2 microphones to go to 1 receiver, that's a pretty good deal.
What was the brand again?
It's called Hotech. It's HOTEC.
Okay.
And yeah, it says wireless headset and lavalier microphone. But there's 2 microphone options for each one of the headsets.
Mm-hmm. That's awesome.
Yeah, I'm really happy with it.
Now you did say that you get a little bit of like a fuzz to it, and if you're in editing, like a lot of times you can fix that, and generally in hardware you'll get something like that.
Exactly.
But other than that, like I mean, for $80, like that looks like, as long as you get a nice enough source close to the person, that you get the best quality. There's a reason we're all like right up on our mics if you're watching us on video, right? Because that's it's going to be the cleanest thing. Don't get as much of the air around us or anything like that. I can adjust to that and make it more a little less sensitive to things, so you get just the important audio, right? So
yeah, and with the lavalier mic, you're not going to get as good of audio as like you're talking about with the microphone right here. But when you're recording like a documentary, it kind of looks awkward if someone's holding a microphone sometimes.
Yeah, you want to hide that. And if it's just you're like, I can't do a boom mic. Trust me, I did a 3-camera shoot with a boom mic a couple weeks ago for the first time. I'm like, wow, let's not do that often.
Yeah,
that's the reason why that's usually a person's job.
Mm-hmm.
But so what was the connection? So you're plugging it into the Zoom, right?
Yep.
And what is that connection that hooks into there? Because I know they take several.
It's just a 1/4 inch. So the Zoom can go XLR or 1/4 inch, and this one's just a 1/4 inch. You just plug it in right in the back, and if you just set your Zoom up to mono, it'll go to both ears.
And I suppose if you had an adapter, you could use that on something with a headphone jack, like if you had an adapter for an iPhone.
They actually come with that. That's
really?
That's the nice thing. Yeah, it does. It comes right with the headphone jack, so you just plug this right in. And that goes right into your headphone jack.
So if you have a phone with headphone jack capabilities, it could very well be used for that, or dongle.
Yeah,
we literally had somebody that couldn't be on the show
I
because they couldn't find their dongle tonight. So we won't disclose the person with the dongle problem this evening. We won't